Hello and welcome to Mapping the College Audition. I'm your host, Charlie Murphy, director of MTCA. That's Musical Theater College Auditions. Check us out at mtca.com. And today we've got a special episode, which is a release of our second ever live pod recording, which is the content of last weekend's faculty Q&A panel that we conducted at Pittsburgh Unified. You're going to hear some brief snippets from, I believe, 26 schools, if my math is working there. I think it's 26 schools on 5 different panels there. Like so much of PUA, this was a beast to organize. So a big shout out to the generous moms at Pittsburgh Unifieds who make that whole weekend happen, and especially the organization for this panel. We had a plan going in, but I also told them we could run it like an open mic, knowing that people's plans would shift, colleges dropped, colleges added. And I just said, hey, just send me a group of 5 people every 20 minutes and we'll keep it going. And they did. They did great. It was a bit of a organized chaos, as you can imagine. You know, all of these schools are in the middle of a long audition weekend, and it starts at 8 p.m. on a Saturday. So for the later panels, that's like 9:40 p.m. on a Saturday evening. So we tried to keep it moving so people could get to bed and get up for their early morning callbacks. But we also tried to give each school relatively equal time and still try to have fun with it all of an evening. I feel pretty good about how it came out in the end. Just like this podcast itself, you know, the goal of the evening was to try to give you a window into the programs themselves and not just the information, right? Which it's also good to have the information, some of those quick things that we're trying to have you go through, but also really a chance to have that interaction with the people behind the information. You know, it's one thing to look at curriculum on a website when you see acting 1, and it's another thing to meet the teacher who's in charge of implementing that curriculum and get a sense of what acting 1 might mean to them, right? I will also say, one of the biggest things coming out of this is a new idea I'm going to try to say out loud so that you all can hold me to it and hold me accountable here, which is I'm going to try to give you 5-minute versions of each of these schools, right? I do think there is a lot that can be gained in a really quick kind of condensed blink of time, right? You know, sort of like Blink is a Malcolm Gladwell thing. It's also, there's now an app called the Blink app, right? I've been saying for years that I invited students to kind of do this on your own, to what we call thin slice these episodes. Just listen to a little chunk, get a sense of the vibes, and then move on, especially early in your process when you don't have to do a super deep dive on every possible school that you might look at. But I do think I was also inspired by this weekend that we can help you a bit more, right? By giving you some of these episodes in a 5-minute episode pre-packaged for you, it might actually make it a little easier rather than making you kind of thin slice yourself. So I can't say that it'll happen immediately, but it is now one of my 2 big long-term goals of how to make the podcast easier for you. And that's really inspired by the happy accident that was this panel. Originally, we conceived it was going to be like 10 total schools, 5 schools an hour. So it was going to be a much more relaxed version of things. But the number of parents and students who came up to me and said they loved how many schools it was. They loved the quick hitter version so they could get a lot of information on a very short amount of time. It was notable for us. I think it was really helpful for me to know that it didn't feel too rushed. I felt like it was too rushed on my end, but I got a lot of positive feedback from it, right? And, you know, I often talk about our students not necessarily having the attention span for these 45-minute interviews we often do with the schools. Many of them say they just catch the pod on their Instagram or TikTok. They'll watch the 60-second clip. But I think for parents too, you know, 45 minutes is a luxurious amount of time to give a school when you're just starting out. So, you know, maybe you'll do the full episodes for the schools that you know you want to audition for, but can we maybe help you thin slice a little broader list? And ideally for me, it's more than 60 seconds, you know, those single clips. I bet there's some there in between where we can give you, I'm thinking like a 5-minute version. So I'm here for whatever. You guys can use the pod however it's helpful to you, but we're going to keep trying to do our best to help you out and help you map this landscape however that can work for you. And I will say, that's what you're about to hear for these 26 schools. So this will be really good bang for your listening buck, you know, and one of my favorite parts of what you're about to hear is that you'll notice the faculty gets a little nervous during the interview. You know, I was a bit tongue-in-cheek when I made them all slate at the beginning, but you'll notice a few of them messed it up, right? It's a kind of beautiful parallel with what you all go through in this process, with these often short windows of time in a busy audition day and feeling like you're kind of being pushed through it all. I'm going to talk about this a bit in the takeaway. So at the end of this episode, like all of our episodes, we do these takeaways at the end. So for those who are new to the pod, after the college interviews, we'll sort of talk through stuff that came up in the interview and some general tips on the process, just in general, that whether they're takeaways from the conversations or just general time for your tip. I'm going to do one of these takeaways about kind of how rushed feeling this thing was and how you don't want to do that in your auditions if at all possible. But hopefully from hearing some of, you know, the college faculty get some of those nerves, it does hopefully get you a sense of what we talk about all the time on the podcast. We talked about it a lot this weekend, which is that idea that you are auditioning them as much as they are auditioning you, right? And I really thought this 2 hours was a great illustration of that. I said it in all of our parent meetings. We've said it before on the podcast, but I know that right now in the process, if you're listening to this in October as we release it, it can feel really, it feels from your perspective like, I just hope I get into one of these schools. I hope I get into any school. I don't know if anybody's going to want me. But that's not really ultimately what this process will be, right? Especially for those of you who go through this process authentically and strategically, and certainly for our MTCA students, you're going to have multiple offers at the end of this process. I'm telling you that you're saying, no, yeah, all the other listeners, that's true for, but not for me. But for you too, you're going to have multiple offers by the time it's done. And it's going to be about which school gets the privilege of getting to teach you, right? Again, I'll just say, I know you're not going to believe me, but I'm telling you that's true. So remember that I said this when it is true that you end up with multiple offers at the end of this, right? And I think it's helpful. It's not just to relieve you in that, but I think it's helpful as you go through this process, listen to these schools in the way that they kind of pitch themselves to you, that they're as nervous that as you are in some ways, right? They're nervous because, when you're at a big weekend like Pittsburgh Unified's, there's over 60 schools there, right? They know they're not necessarily going to get all of this great talent they're seeing to actually apply to all 60 of the schools, right? And I'm not going to rehash all of the advice that we talked about in the wrap-up meeting. Certainly, that's helpful for all the specific Pittsburgh Unified's families. We'll go through some of that. I know many of our listeners here are not people who've just done Pittsburgh Unified's, but so much of this is relevant to the audition process in general when you talk about that idea of they're auditioning you too, right? It's not, or you're auditioning them as long as they're auditioning you. You're auditioning them as much as they're auditioning you, right? And I'm also going to talk a little bit in one of those takeaways. I know if you make it for the whole 2 hours, my God, I'm going to talk a little bit in one of the takeaways about the idea of showing interest, how important it is to show interest in them, and not just assume that they don't have them assume that you're interested. We'll talk about that a little bit. So if you're bored with the panel and you're like, I can't take the audio quality, then feel free to skip ahead and listen to those takeaways. We'll talk a little bit about that in terms of showing interest. Okay, we've got to wrap this intro so we can get to this almost 2-hour panel you're about to hear. I'll just say about PUA itself, it was such a blast to get to meet so many of you, both MTCA students who I hadn't met yet, and then non-MTCA students who said they were listeners, and people who are new to me too. It's so great to meet them too. I just want to say thank you for the kind words about the podcast. It really does mean the world to me hearing those things. So thank you for that. It's nice to put faces to names that I know and faces to some of the nameless listeners out there, right? And hearing that feedback directly about how you listen is also really helpful to me. I mean, some of which stuff I know, one of which is my other big goal for the podcast is I do want to make a directory of schools for you so you don't have to do all the scrolling. I promise that's on my list to do. As we've expanded more and more episodes, I realize it's hard for you to go back to 100 episodes ago, but all of it's helpful to hear just as you guys have suggestions, as you tell me things that really resonate with you. It helps me keep shaping the pod to be what you all want it to be, and really helpful for that next generation of listeners, which I will say, it's one of those things that I really appreciate, not only that your kind words to me, but when so many of you have said, hey, I'm recommending the pod to one of my friends who's got a sophomore who's about to do this, or a freshman who's considering it. It is the way that our podcast spreads, is by you all spreading it out there. So I really appreciate that when you do that. And for those of you who aren't MTCA students yet, please do feel free to reach out to us if there's an area in your process that isn't getting the attention and support that you need. We are proud to be both a la carte and collaborative, meaning we can fit in around the areas of your process that you aren't currently getting help with, or we also can be a supplemental help if you have an area of your process, but you want an expert eye and ear to supplement some of that local support. We are completely comfortable working with other people in certain areas, or just picking up on the specific areas that you don't have support in. We don't need to do every bit of your process necessarily, though of course we're also happy to help students from soup to nuts. We'll do everything with you. We'll do parts of it. We'll work in collaboration. We'll work alone. We're really comfortable with all of that. We are here. It's one of our goals and our missions as a company. We're here to help you have the best audition and the best process possible, whatever that means for you. So whether that's just through listening to the podcast, which is free, whether it's through webinars, or whether you're able to engage in individualized work with us, we're excited to help however we can. And all of that information is available at mtca.com, mtca.com for those who are interested. All right, let's get to this exciting college panel and this live pod episode. I will note, and this probably goes without saying, the audio quality obviously isn't what it would be on a normal podcast episode. We're using some area mics in a pretty hot room, and these are the finest quality area mics that Amazon can sell you for under $20. So we're making the best of it. I will also say for people who are normally audio only listeners, this might be one if you want to watch the video episode. That's available via Spotify, and we'll also post it on YouTube. You're more than welcome to watch the video. It might help a bit more than the average episode. Normally I say, who wants to watch my face while I'm talking? Just listen. But it may help a little bit more because, some of the faculty members, they dance around and they jump on chairs, and it'll help you get some of the laughs in the room as you kind of see some of the physical comedy that was part of this episode a little more. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoy. Okay, here we go. Panel number one. So again, I'm going to take them through like a little bit of an intro. I'm going to make them talk about themselves in relatively rapid succession, and then we're going to open up for questions. So, of course, first maybe specific questions about their school, and then we'll do general questions that they can answer, and then other people will answer different questions. It's going to be pandemonium. It'll be fun. Okay, here we go. Are you guys ready for your faculty speed dating? Faculty. Yeah. Okay. So can we maybe, I'm going to make David be my guinea pig. We're going to start off, we're going to do this all snake style. So it's going to snake, and then it's going to snake back, and it's going to snake, and snake back like that. So you're going to start off with just a slate. Can you give me your name, your school, your position at the school, and where your school is located? Those are 4 elements you say.
David Krasner, Black Towns College. I'm the chair. The school is located on Long Island.
Very good.
Andy Leach, I teach at Tampa. Our school is located in New York and in Los Angeles, and I teach musical theater.
Monica Bell, I'm at Coastal Carolina University. I'm a professor of theater and the coordinator of recruitment, and it's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Joe Domensic. I teach at Seton Hill University, where I'm also the chair of the department, and that's in Greensburg, PA, which is about 40 minutes east of where we are.
Nice.
I'm Jacob Van Widmar. I'm a professor of theater at Oakland University, located in Oakland, Michigan. in Rochester, New York, in Michigan. And I teach basically with Danny Gerwin over there. We're both with the musical theater department.
Unbelievable. How good were they at those slates? They followed the instructions, they made it their own. That's beautiful. Okay, now we're going to go backward here. So we're going to start off with Jacob. Can you give me the 30-second elevator pitch on your school? So we'll ask some specific questions, but just like, what should I know about your school in about 30 seconds?
We are nestled in the heart of Rochester Hills, Michigan. We are a mid-sized school, so about 15,000 students, not too small, not too big. You get real individualized attention here, as like our recent class size was 8 musical theater people. We're looking to keep it between 12 and 14, so you get very individualized attention from Danny and I. And we are very affordable. If you are on—
We'll talk about money. Pop, good. That's interesting.
Seton Hill University, 40 minutes to the east, it's a smaller to mid-sized school, about 1,500 to 2,000 students, depending on the whole university. We are a nurturing, small community. You get a lot of attention. Students are up every week. It means there's also a lot of performing opportunities. Musical theater, acting, dance majors, BAs and BFAs, and all of those, and design and tech. We really believe in our liberal arts tradition. We invite you we want the whole person there while you're training for your dreams.
Awesome. Well, academic questions too. Good. Yes, go.
I'm going to stand up too. All right. Coastal Carolina University, mid-sized institution as well, 11,000. We just broke 11,000. We're in a resort community, lots of golfing and other lots of fun at the beach. We offer BFA in musical theater, BFA in acting, physical theater, one of the only ones in the nation, and design and production. We encourage our students to hold hands across the degree programs, to connect and to have larger friendship circles. We are generous, giving, and open faculty, and we have, that's it.
We're located in New York and in Los Angeles. I think it's the only school that you can study in both cities and get a BFA by studying 2 years in New York and 2 years in Los Angeles. We obviously have degrees in acting, musical theater, dance, and acting for camera, and too many other degrees and too many ways to get those degrees for me to possibly mention. 2 years, 3 years, finishing a 4th year at Fordham, la. So I really encourage you, if you're interested, to go online and look at the catalog and figure out all the ways there are to get a degree.
You guys are crushing these 30 seconds. Go for it.
We are BFA in acting and musical theater. We are right outside of New York City, so it's less expensive. And you might have heard the news that New York City is very expensive, and we are very, very affordable. We are a conservatory training program. We offer an abundance of dance classes, acting classes, singing lessons, Everybody gets on stage immediately as you get there, and we hold the auditions are here, and we have great success. We have students in Hamilton, Lion King. I can go on and on with our success with our graduates. And we have a senior showcase where our agents and casting directors come to the senior showcase to see our students and sign. We have about a 50% success ratio every year.
Okay, you guys are wonderful. I love that. Okay, and after too much applause, we're taking the time to. Okay, let's see how we're gonna go backward. Let's see if we can do as close to one word answer as possible. It doesn't have to be one word, but one word or a sentence that is, especially when we talk about the musical theater program. A lot of us are MTs, hopefuls here. What would be the artistic focus of the MT program? So, acting focus, singing focus, dance focus, all three. Give me a one word or a sentence that sort of describes your artistic focus.
Good. Triple threat.
Triple threat.
Triple threat right away. We want all three.
Hyphenated word. Triple threat. Triple threat. Yes. Yes.
Strong actors who sing.
Strong accent.
Acting focus.
Love it.
Acting through song.
Okay, great.
Preparation for the professional business.
That's too much. Too much. Too much. Okay, three words. Okay. Hyphenated one word. All right, now we're going to go backward. And can you try to give me a sense for our academic-minded people? Can you give me a sense of like where on that BFA conservatory versus BFA liberal arts spectrum you are? If you know like a percentage of like how much time am I spending acting, singing, dancing versus how much time outside academics, and maybe the possibility of a minor double major if that's true. You get a couple sentences here, but pretty quick. About how academic, how artistic are we?
Okay, it's pretty equal. You get all of your artistic in, and then you do have to get your general eds because it is a BFA. But you can very easily do minors. We have business minors, dance minors, psychology minors. In addition to your BFA, we are very open to working with you so you can achieve your dreams, whatever they may be.
A couple of our liberal arts program classes every semester. We believe in that. We think if you're going to a university, go to a university. Don't just go, you can take an acting class, you can take a dance class, you'll be doing it your whole life. But we want you to embrace the whole university experience. We think it's important. We think of ourselves as rigorous conservatory-like training within that liberal arts commitment.
And what about minors, double majors?
We love it. We encourage it. And we have lots of double majors, lots of minors.
So the same with us in terms of that balance, like a conservatory rigor, but the expansion of philosophy and all those things that make you perhaps a richer human and bring that to your art. It's hard to fit in a minor in our MT. It's one of the highest credit bearings on campus, credit bearing loads. However, we do have a dance minor. For the actors, we have a film studies minor, but you have to kind of elbow your way into that in order to fit it in.
What's that? Andy?
We're very much a conservatory that allows you to end up getting a BFA. You take 30 hours a semester of primarily singing, dancing, and acting, but you still get your gen ed. The gen ed classes are very specifically geared towards actors. So anatomy is physical for the actor. English composition is musical theater history and English composition, like that.
Okay, beautiful.
We are a conservatory. We honor the state of New York, which requires us to have a minimum amount of gen eds. We're just like Pace or Juilliard or NYU. They have to have it. We have to have it. We honor it and we do it seriously. But we are a conservatory. We do. We're going to work for now. We have so many dance classes. We have up to 20 dance classes on our curriculum, which you can see in the catalog. And we're looking for next year to go up to the state of New York and have an integrated dance minor, which is the minor that you just automatically get the dance minor when you are an MT BFA.
Okay, great. I'm realizing it's tough to sit on the end. You get doubles on the end. So, David, now going back, anything you want to add about like campus life? Some of you talked about size, so if you haven't said that, give it to us. But also just like, what do I need to know about your campus? What experiences do I get on the experience of Five Towns? And then
It's a small campus. We have about 600 students, and 10% of them are the theater program. We're right outside of New York City. We're right outside of the Long Island Railroad, which you can get into the city every 50 minutes. But the nice thing about it is it's very safe. I'm a native New Yorker. I hate to say and the dispersions on New York. I think it's a very safe city, but we're not the actual inner city life. We are right outside. We're in the suburb, and so this way, all of the students can concentrate and focus on their career, on their training, on the triple threat, and then get into the city and see a Broadway show.
great. Yeah.
We're obviously right in New York City, next to Lincoln Center and next to all the Broadway shows. I promise you it's safe, parents. I have to have my ID to get into the building. And in Hollywood, we are right next to Capitol Records, we're right downtown. So your campuses are where you're hoping to be located.
We're just one flight away to New York. We're multiple flights a day, and it's really short. We are again a resort community. The university is gorgeous. It's all Georgian red brick. It has the feel of a private college without the private college price tag. There are lakes and beautiful fountains and all of that. We like to be in a place of beauty because we work so hard. So when we go outside, we like to see beauty palm trees and all of that. And remember the putt-putt.
We're in Greensburg, small town, beautiful campus on the hill, which is our historic campus. A lot of people think it looks like Hogwarts when they drive up to it. You have to come and see it. And then we also have our downtown campus where the arts buildings are. So where we are is we're in this little enclave removed from Pittsburgh, 40 minutes away. We make a lot of trips to Pittsburgh. We also encourage our students to travel abroad and earn credits. We just did a London trip. We've gone to Ireland, Italy with all kinds of different programs. It's a tight-knit community, more clubs than you can possibly get involved in.
All right, Jake, this first.
Okay, as I mentioned, it's a 15,000 about student population. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. There's no football team, okay? No. But we have one of the top female basketball teams. Like I said, we're nestled in Rochester Hills, recently named one of the top cities to live in the United States. I'm not making that up. And then on campus, we also have one of the largest equity houses in Michigan, which we are doing co-productions with. So you will be able to right away perform with professionals in an equity house, a Lord B Theater. It is a very safe area. There's plenty to do, and it's a really tight-knit community, but also there's a lot of, we have Kaleidoscope, which is a place for those people of color who they do cabarets and they get together. We also have specific LGBTQ groups and clubs, and it's very safe. I always talk about my husband because I think it's good to normalize it so students should feel safe to be who they are.
Okay, now Jacob, you're gonna come back again and finally get to talk about cost. So you can sit and say, we're talking about cost. We're just in a financial aid meeting with a lot of these parents, talking about kind of the different ways that money comes to them. So if you know your whole tuition, it's okay if you don't know the whole number. If you know the tuition number, that's okay. Everyone look it up now. And then basically to help the families a little bit, like, are we mostly getting need-based money? Are we mostly getting academic money? Are we mostly getting artistic money? How would they get money to bring that number down, whatever that number is?
Okay, so here, let's get this out of the way.
Oh my God, now he's going to
Say if you are out of state, you automatically will get in-state tuition.
Yes.
If your GPA is 4.9 and above, you have a good SAT score, then the presidential scholarships start rolling in. 4.9 and above, so 4.9, 3.9. SAT score, you get the presidential scholarship. Those things can equal about like $9,000 a year, in addition to the tuition, in addition to the scholarship money that Danny and I decide. We could say right here, 5,000 down. You know what I mean? So we get to decide.
And someone getting $5,000 tonight.
Michigan residents. Okay, good. So just so you know, there's
You get 5,000. You get 5,000.
There's also the golden guarantee, which means if you do not make a certain, if you meet a certain income threshold, then you get the golden guarantee, which is all of your tuition will be covered regardless of scholarship awards.
It's nice to make them sweat too, right? You guys all had to sweat in your own.
moving.
It's nice to make them sweat. Okay, Joe, go for it.
So we're a private university. We're not one of the most expensive private universities, but one thing I want to encourage you to do is don't stop at the sticker price. So a lot of times people think, oh, you're not a state school, you're so much more money. And then you get a package and you realize at or better than a state competitor. It doesn't cost anything to apply to us, so go through the process and find out that we're about the same as a state school. A lot of it's needs-based, but as other programs, we also offer scholarships based on talent, and there's also honors. There's things like the honors program, which has a different scholarship. You could apply for that if you have a high GPA. So look past the.
So needs-based also merit awards, which is tied into your academic accomplishments. Also awards directly from the Department of Theater. So when we put those together, our presidential scholar, in essence, it's in-state tuition if you're a presidential scholar. And we also have awards for our overseas. We have an overseas program in London, so we have awards for that as well. So it's
I'm gonna agree completely with you. Definitely apply, right? It's also free to audition and apply for art school, and it is a complete package. The package it's a point system. It's made up with the audition is a huge part of it. It's also need your letter of admission, a letter that you write, your recommendations, and all those things go together in a package. So I would definitely apply and then look at all the costs.
Okay, good.
Good, we have everything that is mentioned here. I want to urge everybody, fill out your FAFSA. Don't forget to fill
Yeah.
out.
We did the whole meeting, we told them all to do it, yes, they
Oh,
know.
you do,
They know.
Everything, and I can dole out money, a lot of it.
It's gonna get more money.
We got performance-based, needs-based, academic-based, presidential scholarship, Pell Grants of the state, merit scholarships. Just look it up. There's tons of ways to chip down that money.
We got a lot of
We
future
run
presidents.
about $20,000 a year on average.
Our first number said, I love it, I'm proud of you. Good, okay, good. Let's offer a chance for questions. I have more I can do, but I'm sure you guys got questions too. Yes, I see a hand, go for it, maybe have it in there. Nope, not a question. Question. Things you want to, let's start with specific to the school questions. Yeah, go for it.
Not my situation at all. My kid is brilliant. But say you have a kid who has like less than good GPA, like a 2.5, 2.9, I don't even know what those are, but 2.9, let's say. And they want to go to your school, but they can't afford it and they have a terrible GPA. What do you do?
Well, sure, we do have a minimum of 2.5. And then from there, we can start to look at, there are lots of other scholarship opportunities. And once again, there's Danny and me who can decide, but then there's lots of other needs-based scholarships.
Well, I should mention this, very talented.
Here's $5,000.
Yeah.
I can tell you this,
Yeah,
we'll often advocate for a student that might have been on the line academically. We'll say, no, you don't understand this person. We really want this student. And that's made a difference sometimes. And then also for students where college is new for them and maybe the academics isn't their strongest thing, there are all kinds of classes and tutors, and there's the success program, the academic, the writing center. There's so many resources that help bolster the students academically.
Yeah, we also advocate for students who are like on the cusp of a merit award, but not quite there. I work with the Office of Admissions, and so I have a constant back and forth with the students that we're recruiting to our department, so oftentimes I can make a difference.
Two other questions.
I would also add a vast majority.
We can't all answer every question. Okay, go ahead.
A vast majority of the most talented kids do have bad grades. I mean, it's just a fact. They're smart in other ways.
And the nice thing about a small school, I go into the president. I don't have to go through anybody else.
Sit back, David. We got questions. We got questions over here. Lots of people want questions. Yes,
I have a question that probably might have been answered earlier, so I apologize.
Oh, no, that's cool.
When you're going through the application process, we've been told if applying for these BFA programs to not do early decision, but there's early action.
Yes.
Is that
Do it.
okay to submit for?
Yes.
Do it.
And if your child has already submitted the application under regular, can they call up and say, you know, it's already in, can we be considered for early action?
Yes.
Yes.
And early action is not
Yes.
just early action,
It's
but for
very
multiple
flexible.
schools, right?
Very
Okay, so they
flexible.
can get it academically and then, you know,
Then you
Whatever
know, they know earlier.
yeah, and then
Yes.
the rest of it is.
Gives them peace of mind.
Start advocating for yourself now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Go for it, yeah.
Okay, so I know some people mentioned study abroad. That's something on my daughter's radar. So really quick, do you offer study abroad? Yes or no?
We love it.
Yes, Greece.
No.
No,
No, but
we
we
love
honor it. We will honor a particular school that gives credit. We just kind of, we check out of our school, go there, and then we get the credit back. So we honor it.
Thank
New York,
you.
LA.
All right, we can do one more question this panel, then we're going to on the back. Yes, please. No, those you, yep.
Okay, well, do you guys, so I know you talked a lot about like the academic scholarships and stuff, but do you consider academics when choosing who to let into the school?
Great question. How much academics factor into admission? You can all answer that.
Performance.
No.
It's, for us, it's performance. It's,
Yeah.
for us, it's me. As the chair, I go to the president, I say, this person's gonna do it. That's it, okay?
Goes right to Trump. Yeah, okay.
Straight to the horses.
Yeah, same as you, right? Yeah, no, Monica, do you want to
No,
answer
I mean, we can tell the smarts and performance, you know.
that? Jeff?
It's not.
It's a part of it, because we're looking at the whole package.
Yeah, and then
No, if you get into the school, you're good, and we'll now focus on.
you'll hear me say this a couple times. I think the conservatories tend to be a little bit overrepresented here. This is part of the nature of, if you look at all the schools, plenty of BFA liberal arts programs, but tends to be on these panels, I'm guessing of the 30, more compared to the wide swath, we'll say artistic more than academic here. Ask that question again though, if you want. If there's any other schools that, I'll try to say it for the future ones, but it's another one where you're like, I'm interested in you specifically. There'll be a couple that care more, but more of the schools that are gonna care less will tend to be here.
Sorry, I
Yes,
have to
go for
ask. So with that said, if a student has like,
4.9.
yeah. 35 super smart, super talented, also like 35 college credits that they've acquired at in high school. Does that make a difference?
Yeah, sure. Then you can apply them. Yeah.
You could get out early.
I was gonna say, it
You could
doesn't
get out in
make a
3 years.
difference in terms of like recruiting, but it makes a difference in how long you'll be in school.
Well, for
It
us,
has to have an equivalent.
yes,
for us.
excuse me.
Right, I mean, like,
And
we're talking like AP classes.
So for
college
us, we
classes.
just say it gives a little more breadth to the program,
Yeah.
because it takes those cores away, so that they can live more freely and more artistic.
That's
But
very
it
true.
is sequential study for us, so it's hard to get out early.
Okay, let's take this wonderful panel. Thank you. We have a new wonderful panel. The last panel was fantastic. They picked up the energy of what this is, which is speed dating.
Okay.
So you all, by the end, we had faculty sachet. And you feel free to do what you have to do. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions pretty quickly. I'm going to begin to kind of do overviews of your program, and then we'll do general questions. Does everyone feel ready? We're going to go snake style, okay? So it's going to go this way, and then it's going to go this way. I'm going to start off with Ryan. You're all going to slate yourselves. You're going to slate your name, your school, what you do at the school, and the location of
Should I
your school.
stand for the people
You
back?
can. It's not helping much for Ryan.
Something next to 6 inches.
No, slate.
I'm Ryan Kaspenzak, head of musical theater at Montclair State University
Perfect. And then Montclair is
in New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Joe Jackson. I'm an instructional assistant professor of musical theater dance at the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, in Oxford, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ryan Scoble. I am the head of musical theater at West Virginia University, and I'll be singing Try Me today.
Hi, I'm Robin Lee. I am an assistant professor at Niagara University in sunny Western New York, and I teach acting and directing.
Awesome.
I'm Jennifer Engler. I am chair of the Department of Theater at TCU, and we are in Fort Worth, Texas.
Amazing. Okay, now we're going to snake style. So Jennifer, I'm going to make you come back here.
a fantasy draft,
That's what we're doing. This is called, we're doing a third round reversal. Okay, so Jennifer, you're going to give us your 30-second overview. I'm going to ask you a couple different questions. I'll ask about campus life, academic focus, cost. So you don't have to hit all of those things. Give me a 30-second overview of the oeuvre of your school. What is the ethos of your program? What do we need to know in 30 seconds?
Yeah, I think there are two really great things about TCU, both for our department and also for the university at large. I would say number one is our size. TCU has a lot of the trappings of a really large university with Division I athletics, lots of great guest artists, speakers. It's got Greek life. It's got those college. We really are appealing to people who want a professional training program within a traditional college experience. And so there's that. But we're a university, we're 15,000.
I'm telling you off.
People think we're a lot.
I'm telling you off on time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So I
who
think
wants more
people think we're a lot bigger than we are. That's true also of our departments. We have about 160 majors over 5 different emphases. And I'm assuming
That's it. You're not
that's
giving the hook. Okay, go for it. Yeah.
Hi. So we offer a BFA in performance and in design and production. Niagara University is a small Catholic college in New York side of Niagara Falls. We have a conservatory style training combined with a liberal arts education. That's what I think sets us apart. We have a New York City showcase. All of our students train in vocal performance and dance and acting. And there's a lot of opportunity to double major. We have a 5+1 or 4+1 education program where you can get a master's degree and teaching certification in theater. It's just one extra year of school.
So I'll ask more things too. Yes, go for it. Yep.
At WVU, similar to TCU, we are a very large university, about 26,000 students. Our program is about 180 to 200. Music theater about 40. Morgantown, West Virginia is a gorgeous place in a gorgeous state, gorgeous mountains. Your paths will be great if you go there. We have class sizes about 10 to 12 in each cohort, so conservatory style training with a small group of people, but that big traditional big campus feel.
I love it. Awesome. Well done. So at Ole Miss, at the University of Mississippi, in Oxford, it is consistently ranked one of the top colleges, small town colleges in the country. And our university has a BFA in acting for stage and screen. That way, you're getting training in both stage and screen work. We have a junior film process. This is nervous.
I know. They all have to do this. No, you have to do this. You still are in audition here, just like them. It's time to grow.
So what makes us unique is we are similar to TCU and West Virginia, large university, SEC school. Our department is small. We have about 120 BFAs. So we know our cohorts. We cap them at 16. We know all of them by name, and it feels like a family. We'll talk more.
Yes, right.
Montclair State University is located in Montclair, New Jersey, 12 miles from New York City. We have beautiful views of the New York City skyline. We really rely on the city to fill out our faculty. 90% of our faculty live and work in the city. Our cohorts range about 18 to 20 students per class. And because of our location, we're developing a lot of new work. We did a world premiere musical last year. We have another one this year, and we do at least 2 new readings every year. So if you want to do ambitious new work, Montclair State is a good place for you.
I love it. And Ryan, I come right back to you. So let's talk, all of you, it's going to be about your academic focus. So basically, how much time are you spending doing acting, singing, dancing, or when we're doing acting, versus how much time am I spending doing other, let's say, academic things? So not counting theater history, but things that are outside of the theater department. If you have a percentage, or 75, 25, 80, 20, whatever, we're in that range. And then if we don't have possible minors, double majors are, that kind of thing.
You have 120 credits to graduate. 93 of them will be in your major. So it is a BFA conservatory style. It's not a conservatory in the sense that the cohort is together only for their acting classes, and then the dance classes and some of the music classes are leveled, so they get mixed in together. But that is the majority of your curriculum. It is, I don't want to say impossible to double major, but because of the time commitment of the BFA, it's unlikely. If you want a minor, that's really an option. And as far as the gen eds go, we rebranded all the gen eds this year. It's called Seeds. It's a bunch of words I'm not allowed to say. The federal government will take all our money. All the words you think. Okay.
And you're done. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Great. The BFA, also 120 credits, about 80 or so are within the department. The rest are within the College of Liberal Arts. We also have a robust BA program where we focus on theater education and just a lot of other just general theater application. What else?
That's great. That's great. We'll go quickly. Yeah.
Great. We do at WVU have general ed classes. It's about 15% of the makeup of your coursework. But most of that is conservatory style training in acting, singing, and dance. It is possible to double major, but you have to be really on top of your credits. And certain majors are easier to double major in, like dance, things in our college specifically. But certain students have made it work by doing extra semesters, and minors are definitely absolutely easy.
Amazing. Yep.
We probably, I would say, depending on the semester, a 60-40 split of training and academics. Yeah.
That's great. Perfect. Yep.
So we too have, it's 120 hours is your total credits needed to graduate. 86 of those are in your BFA program. I've been at TCU, this is my 23rd year. We've had one person double major with the BFA in musical theater in that time. So it's hard. We have a lot of students who minor. We also have a BA program that is only 45 credits versus that 86. So if you're really interested in double majoring, that's the way to go at TCU. The BA at TCU is also audition only as well as the BA. So.
I love it. There's a pretty good representative range we just saw, right? 60-40, and then all the way up to 93. That's about about 75%, right? Some will be even more like 80%. Some of the ones you heard last time, though, they didn't give percentages, are more like 90%. We're talking about the canvas of the world. But in general, that's a good range of what could be within a BFA there. Okay, going back to you, Jennifer, give me as much to one word as we can, close to one word or a sentence, about your artistic focus within the musical theater. So are we acting based out of musical theater? Are we love singing? How would you say your focus is?
Yeah, I would say acting is the foundation for us. We think that you're acting when you're singing, acting when you're dancing. We also want to see you be successful in film, TV, and commercial, and not just musical theater.
The long sentence. Yeah, wait, cut her off. Good, yeah.
Yeah, so we have, I mean, I agree, acting is the base of our program, but continuous vocal training and dance throughout the 4 years.
That's great.
Yeah, at WVU, acting focused, but pretty evenly split, and a big focus on mindfulness and knowing who you are as a human and how to sell that.
Yes, yes.
Acting based across stage and screen and creating your own work.
Yes.
I'd say we're very democratic among our stage. We let the students really lean into their choices. And what I mean is if you're a dance person, you can really fill your credits that way. If you're a music person, there's a way to do it that way. And then acting, of course, is still the core.
Democratic? That's democratic?
They can
Choose your own
Let
adventure.
the people choose.
Let the people choose. Democratic? Okay, all right, I'm taking that. Okay, anything you didn't say about your campus life? Some of you gave some campus life descriptions, but if we don't yet know, like, what is the experience of being on campus? Is there Greek life, activities? What do I need to know about your campus outside of the theater department?
It's a mid-sized university, so we have like, Division III athletics and things like that. But mostly.
What's wrong with Division III?
Anyway, I think what's great about it is the Montclair is a cute, lovely suburban town. So the parents will be thrilled about this. And it's 40 minutes into Midtown Manhattan. So the students like that part.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, so Oxford is a wonderful town, like I said earlier, highly ranked. It's one of the best small college towns, college campus. It's beautiful if you've never been. Great cultural scene. There's a lot of festivals, music, art, and everything else in Oxford. Big Greek life as well.
Love it.
We have sports division. I do theater. I don't know. There are sports. I think it's here.
Niagara is a Catholic university, it's an Vincentian tradition, which is really a social justice focused tradition in sort of Catholic education. And there is Division I sports, and I know. And it's a really warm campus.
This is much more sport focused than expected.
Not more temperature.
Yeah.
All right, if you're a frog, you're a frog for life. That is the culture at TCU. Go Frogs.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. All right. Now, coming back to Jennifer, let's talk about cost. So if you know the number, if you're willing to say tuition, we would all appreciate hearing the word tuition. If you don't know the number, that's okay. But talk to me about what the number is tuition-wise, and then how do they bring that down? So are we talking about, is it mostly need, mostly academic, mostly artistic? How does that number come down off of sticker price? Jennifer, go.
Yeah, our sticker price is stupid. And nobody pays that.
Stupid thousand? Do you have a number, or you don't want to say it?
63? Yeah. Nobody pays that. So yeah, anybody who's admitted to the BFA is offered some type of talent-based scholarship, which can stack on need, can stack on academic. Can I say one pitch? It doesn't matter if you're talking to TCU or if you're talking to any university. If the price is what's keeping you from going there, keep talking. Nobody on this side of the table is going to make you feel bad about talking about cost. Cost is real, and just put your cards on the table and let us be your advocates.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Thank you. I love that advice. That's good advice. And I truly don't know the sticker price. I'm kind of new.
Let's say $100,000.
Division I.
Same thing. I mean, also because nobody pays the sticker price. But I know we're ranked in the sort of best valued universities. I'll tell you that much.
Great. Out-of-state tuition for us is $28,000, so pretty cheap for out-of-state students. We typically can get that down with need-based and talent-based scholarships for most people to almost complete tuition and fees covered to about $5,000 away from that. That does not include housing.
So our out-of-state is about 39, our in-state is 9. and a lot of scholarships, especially academically. And then we also can stack your theater merit scholarships on top of that.
I love it, right?
Total estimated cost for the year, out of state, 44 grand.
Did you just look that up?
I did.
Yeah.
I looked up my notes. I asked admissions before I came. I was like, give me the number.
Good, you got it.
Okay, so 44 out of state is a $10,000 discount if you are an in-state New Jersey resident. That's a big one. And then we are able to stack talent and academic scholarships, which really helps bring that number down.
I love it. Okay, let's do questions. Probably time for 2 or 3 questions around it. 5 minutes. These are hard to do. Yes.
What kind of students are you looking for in your program?
Right. That was my 6th question that I didn't ask them. So it's great. You guys can all answer that. So talk to me. What did you, when you're watching these auditions, all of you, what do you look for? Why are you calling some people back and other people back? Let's start with Ryan, I think.
I always say we're looking for open-hearted artists. I want people who either know who they are or are looking to discover, and I prefer specialists. I'd rather you be the best dancer in the room than like a little good at everything, or the voice that I cannot get out of my head than a little good at everything.
So yeah, I think looking for someone that's willing to take risks, someone that's willing to take adjustments, right, and open to feedback, right. I think that is huge in our program. Part of our audition process is giving an adjustment on the spot so that we see what they're like in a class or in directing or in rehearsals for a show.
Yeah.
Things that I look for being in your body physically, taking up space, and having a clear point of view. And like Ryan said, not necessarily having to know exactly who you are, but having a clear point of view, what you want to say and what you're doing with your art.
Yeah, I agree. Authenticity is the biggest thing for me. And sometimes that really is exactly knowing who you are and leaning into that. And sometimes it's just a willingness to be open and truthful in the moment.
Same thing. Are you comfortable with who you are? And I may not know exactly who that is yet, but I'm comfortable with where I am in the journey. And so knowing that you're the commodity you're about to go out and sell, so be comfortable wearing that skin. And yeah.
Let's do maybe one more question, maybe 2. Yes, please.
Incoming cohort size, especially Montclair.
That's 18 to 20. We aim for about 20. This year our freshmen are 22. Last year they were 18. So
Is that MT and acting?
that's just MT. Acting tends to be around 15.
And why don't we go, you just want to quickly
Yeah,
do
we're 16.
Yep.
12 for musical theater, usually around 8 to 10 for acting.
12 to 15.
12 to 15 in acting and in musical theater.
Great. Do one more question. Nancy, in the back, yeah, go for it.
Hi, I was just wondering what your process is like for getting kids out of school and into the professional world.
For the lunch. Jennifer, you want to start with that?
Yeah, so we do a local showcase in DFW. We do a video showcase that we send to bi-coastal agencies, and then we do a New York showcase as well. And then beyond that, it's just bringing agents and reps into campus. And we also do a co-pro at least every other year with a small professional theater in Fort Worth. So it's allowing the students to get equity points, to work with equity actors, those kinds of things, even before they graduate. Yeah.
We have a regional showcase, and we have a New York City showcase for industry professionals. I teach a class for the seniors that's acting synthesis in the profession, but it's really all about career prep.
Great.
We have guest artists who come in and work with our students as directors, choreographers. We also invite professional theaters to come in and audition our students every year. And then we have a New York City-based showcase, and we're also connected to a regional theater in West Virginia Public Theater. Yeah.
Very similar. We do a virtual showcase, bringing in guest artists, and then we do a New York City showcase as well.
We do the senior showcase shebang the whole senior year, but also ours is really embedded in the program, and we use New York as an extension of the campus. We had an opera that workshopped at Lincoln Center last year that all of our students participated in. Our new musical is premiering at Montclair State, and then we'll be at Lincoln Center in the spring for a concert there as well. So it's pretty integrated that way.
All right, I think that's it for this panel. We're already a little bit over. Okay, right, here we go. Okay, so they've all experienced this. I know you guys are coming in fresh with this, right? Name, school, position, location.
Hi, I'm Bill Midnight. I don't have a number. Sorry, that's a joke for your students. I work at Northern Michigan University. I'm the department head of theater and dance. I'm also the director of the Innovation Institute for Northern. We are located in Marquette, Michigan. You're like, where the hell is that? Someone said whoop whoop. It's actually Yoop Yoop. It's the Upper Peninsula. And the UP, they're A.
I'm Jennifer Valenga. I'm the school director of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro School of Theater in the College of Visual and Performing Arts, and I've been in the position for 3 months. Previous to that, I was at K-State, University of Miami, and you could go to any of these schools and get an amazing education.
Hi, James Beaudry, Director of Undergraduate Studies for Theater and Dance at the University at Buffalo, which is at Buffalo.
Hi, Elise Hauser. I'm the program director of the BM in Music Theater at Florida State University in Tallahassee.
Meredith Walker. I am the director of admissions at the Norwalk Conservatory of the Arts in Norwalk, Connecticut.
I love it. Okay, now we're gonna go snake style. So we're gonna come back here, and can you give me like your 30-second elevator pitch of like what your school is? I'm gonna ask you some specific questions about cost and curriculum, and I'm gonna cover a lot of things. You don't have to hit everything, but give like what makes your school unique. What is Norwalk? What is your school? Each of your individual schools. Give us like what is the student body? What do I need to know about you? About 30 seconds.
Absolutely. So NOCO, just outside of New York City, we really cater to the student who wants to be on Broadway now, who is ready, who is chomping at the bit, who wants to do the thing. We encourage our students to be auditioning while they're in school. We expect them to get an agent. We are bringing casting to the school. We are bringing agents to the school. We are encouraging them to work professionally while they are still enrolled with us.
That's great. That's a great,
yeah,
perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, I have 3 quick things. Okay, oh my God, I just blanked on all of them. Yeah, go backwards. Yes, hey, okay, so what's unique about Florida State University is we have a BM or a BFA. So you can either study in, well, you could get your BM in the College of Music or your BFA from the School of Theater, but we are one cohort. When you audition for us, you're auditioning for the program, and the students get to decide if they want a little more music or a little more theater. We consider ourselves a highly mentored program because we like to take between only 8 and 10 a class. Therefore, we know everybody at all times, and where, it's very easy to get individual attention. Last thing, I got it, is that we are
Time.
conservatory style training and liberal arts education, right? So you have all the state gen eds, blah, 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 but you have all that.
And we'll do some gen ed stuff, but yes, please, James.
Great. University of Buffalo is the largest public university in the state of New York. It's one of the flagships of the SUNY system. And it has 32,000 students, but the Department of Theater and Dance has about 160 undergrads. So and they stick us in the corner in the Center for the Arts. So it feels small in our area, but part of this big university. And curricularly, I like to call it yes and. You can do a BFA in music theater, you can do a BFA in acting. You could also add a BA in dance to that. You can also do a concentration in design tech, so you can have your BFA and eat it too.
Please put that on.
University of North Carolina at Greensboro is the most diverse university in the North Carolina system. It is there are 300 majors in theater. BFA in musical theater, BFA in acting, BFA in BFA in theater education. They do theater for young audiences. Many ways that you can get a BFA or a BA. Thriving community in a college of visual and performing arts, which means you're not answering to the sciences, you're answering to artists. So students work in dance, theater, music, visual art, in a thriving triad metropolis of a lot of things going on in North Carolina.
Love it. Go. Northern Michigan University is a pre-professional training program. We do 15 productions in our season. Endless opportunities is the term. We guarantee every performance major a role in the show freshman year. We just did Into the Woods. 4 freshmen were leads in that show, cast in April. So they were in high school and they got cast. I believe in practice, and so that's kind of what we're about.
All right, Bill, going right back to you, but we're going to do it for all of you. Give me a sense of now your academic focus. So if you have a percentage of like time that is spent acting, singing, dancing versus those gen eds versus other minors, double majors. So I want to hear about if you have a 75-25, 60-40, whatever feels right in terms of your split, and then how possible a minor or double major might be. I'm going to add into that if you can hold it all. Also, if you care about academics in admission, since someone asked that question. So how many academics do you have? Can you minor, double major? And then do you care about it in admission?
Great. Northern's actually founded as a right to try school, so we allow students to come in at pretty much any GPA status. They might come in on academic probation. We actually have the highest graduation rate of students that come in on academic probation. Most of your students have good grades, but if they have a unique high school experience, that's fine. I would say we're kind of like ground beef, 80-20, 70-30 when it comes to we have many students that double major. We have a dance company in our degrees. So we have lots of dance students that are also BFA acting or BFA musical theater. Voice lessons are included in that. What were all the other questions?
Does academics matter to you? Sounds like
we don't require test scores. It is literally GPA, and you have to have a willing to try. There is an interview audition process, but it's about we have a concierge program. My job is to meet you where your students are at, and where they're at, and make sure that we can find their best trajectories to success. That's how we operate.
UNCG is a university that has mostly students across the university that are first generation, which means a lot of times the academics may not be the first thing. It is 70-30 in the BFA, and I'm not exactly sure in the BA because I've been in my job 3 months. But you can search all of that online, but you don't have to be high academic in order to get in. You do have to be talented and audition, like your students have all done, to get into the BFA programs, and the acting and musical theater take classes together.
Perfect. Yep.
Yes, you have to have some academic achievement to get in to the University of Buffalo. It's a Research One university, and so they take that very seriously. We are part of the College of Arts and Sciences, so we follow the UB curriculum and the SUNY curriculum. That is really only like one course a semester, and you're usually doing 5 or 6. So that's 20% or less. That's the most math I'm going to do today. And what was the
That's
next
great.
part
No,
of the
that's great.
question?
Totally.
Great.
Yes, Florida State, you have to get into the university in order to get into the program. If it's on the border, we can do a little push for talent and admissions if possible. I don't know the percentage, between 20 and 25%. You know, there's a bunch of core courses. We love it when you come in with accelerated credits or you want to club things like that, because then you could take extra dance classes.
Yes.
Minors, sometimes, depending on the minor, we don't have a dance minor because there's a dance major, and all of our students dance 1 million times a week, so you don't need a dance minor. Double majors, very tricky. If a student really, really wants to do it, they might have to do a 5th year, but usually those are BAs.
Yeah.
So we are a conservatory program and a 3-year BFA. So we are really fast tracked.
That's brand new, no?
It's brand new, yes. And very condensed. So gen ed wise, I think we're probably about the same because there are like state requirements and everything. Whatever the minimum state requirement is what we go for. There is no academic requirement to get in. It is not a separate acceptance or anything. It is just one track. And all of our gen eds, we either try to gear towards the artist, so classes that make sense, business classes, psychology, learning about the brain, things like that, or they are classes that they can apply to a minor, so like a business administration minor, or something that they can use in like a side hustle while they are auditioning. So it's something that makes sense in their long-term track. And I can't remember if there was anything else we were supposed to talk about.
That's perfect. You nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Are we going to come backward again? And now can we do artistic focus within the musical theater degree? So this could maybe be one word or one sentence, but basically saying like, are we acting focused, music focused, dance focused? Is it really all 3 equally? How do you sort of look at the 3 of the musical theater at all?
All right. Begin. So our BFA tracks, we have 3 separate majors. We have musical theater, dance, and acting for stage and screen. Acting is probably the most straightforward. You take like a little bit of dance. There is opportunity to take voice lessons, continue on some of that musical training if you so wish. Musical theater and musical theater dance are very similar. As you can imagine, musical theater dance is more dance focused. You know, that's going to be your training to be like ensemble covering roles, versus musical theater is going to be sort of more lead roles type performer.
This is a long sentence, one long sentence.
And it was one sentence,
Yeah,
that was
you're great.
terrible.
No, you're great. Yeah, Lisa first.
All three, we focus on all three. We're known to be a dance heavy school. But what that means is you don't have to be a dancer to be admitted, but you do have to be willing to be in dance class 4 days a week and be happy about that.
We split it, and there's a core, and then you have 4 electives you can choose. So from those electives, you can either like add dance to that concentration, or add acting to that concentration, or if you want to add directing and writing and things like that, composition, you can do that as well. Or you can add the BA in dance. You have to audition separately for that. But if you want the more dance, you can do that with all the comparative jazz studies we offer.
I would say acting singers who dance, and I will say it from our video showcase that we do, where the acting BFAs do video, like film that's for scenes that have been written for them, and the actors, the singers sing with video, and they're really great actors. So I'd say acting and singing with a lot of dance. Fair?
Yeah. I'm gonna go triple threat in it is acting, singing, dancing. Voice lessons are required. Every acting major and any performance major, BA or BFA, has to take it. They all have to take dance class. They all have to take the musical theater class.
Okay, great. Right back to you, Phil. We're going to talk about cost. So if you know the number, we'd love to hear the number. If you don't know the number, it's okay, but tell us what that sticker price is, and then how do we bring that down? Mostly academic money, mostly artistic money, mostly need-based. Talk about how that works.
Sure. So if you're in the state of Michigan, we are the lowest, second lowest tuition rate in the state of Michigan. We are the lowest BFA tuition rate in the state of Michigan. Right now, if you get in-state tuition, it's about $11,000 and change for the year, not counting housing. Housing is another $9 or $10 grand when you live in the dorms. I know, affordable, right? If you are out of state and you're like, how am I going to make that work? Because it's more expensive. If you have a good GPA, we have the Wildcat Bridge Merit Scholarship. So ranging from a 3.2 to a 4.0, if you get closer to the 3.5, 3.7, you get in-state tuition. I know. And then we have departmental scholarships, which is pretty great. And then we also have a huge work study program where we hire about 80 students. So half of our students work in our department.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, in-state about 28,000. That's all in housing, boarding, everything, boarding, food. So Google cost of attendance in the university, and you'll get the whole thing. Out of state, about 30, maybe 34,000. So a lot of you will be out of state and could go to UNCG cheaper than your in-state tuition or cost of attendance. Definitely scholarships typically offered for the spring for the first time. And I think that's all I need to say for now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. In-state tuition is tuition and fees together are 11,000. Out of state is 32,000. Pretty much everyone out of state does not pay that. They give a significant amount of money. The way to get that is to keep asking and communicating. There are variable room and board options depending on where you choose to live. Those costs fluctuate. And if you are in state, there's a ton of money from New York State. If you have certain GPAs and your adjusted gross income is 125,000 or less, you can go anywhere for free.
I love it.
Okay, I know the in-state number for FSU is 7,000-ish, and that's not room and board, but that's tuition. And then the out-of-state is higher. I feel like I don't know what the number is, but it's higher than that. But I do know that almost all our students who get accepted will get an out-of-state waiver to knock 50% off the out-of-state tuition. So it gets closer to in-state, but then we have scholarships either for music or theater, depending on which one you choose that pile on top of that. We're very affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm the only private school on
Now
this
we're gonna be
panel. It
expensive.
stinks.
We can talk about Broadway at the beginning. So you got that. Everyone got their turn.
We're 3 years, so
That's
it's
right.
automatically a little bit cheaper at the end of the day.
And you're gonna leave after one semester because you're on Broadway anyway, right?
Yeah, you're gonna make $3,000 a week. It's great. Loco's tuition is about $40,000 a year. I think 100% of our student body is on some form of scholarship, ranging from like $1,000 all the way up to full tuition. We scholarship as much as we can because we know it's a hefty price tag, and we want to make sure that anybody who wants to attend can afford to attend. So the name of the game is scholarship there. Yes.
Love it. And I think a name of the game, you heard it in the financial aid meeting we all talked, and then how many of these people have said, keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. So if you haven't written that down, write that down for yourself 4 months from now. Can't hurt to ask and ask and ask. Okay, one more question, because I had it originally, I stopped asking it, I'm gonna ask it again due to one of our wonderful students. Tell me what you're looking for when you in a student. I'd love to hear what you're looking for in a student generally, but also you just watched 200 film auditions, right? Like what were you looking at that made you go, yes, this student, no, this student, not to tell us which students right now are going to be called back. But as you're doing that, they have months to go too. Like, what are you looking for that makes you go, I want to see more, I want to call that student back, I want to see more principals?
We are looking for a student that is incredibly driven, incredibly passionate, who is ready to sort of take their sort of fate in their own hands, ready to go out and do the thing, who is incredibly unique, incredibly marketable, incredibly special, and
so just be incredibly special.
Yeah,
how's that on?
just be like
Be
amazing.
amazing. That's great.
That's right.
So hard. I mean, highly skilled, wanting to be in dance class. Definitely a team player, because we're such a small program. You have to be a good, kind human. We have to all work together. Our students tend to be very driven, and I call it a fierceness. There's like a fierceness about our students, that they're hungry and they want to be there and they want to get their education and they want to go to the FSU football games too. It's all part of it.
Yes, I love it.
The technical skills are necessary, but we're looking for a point of view and some critical thinking and some curiosity to find out what you don't know, and also know what a curriculum means. Just look that up.
Yeah.
We're looking for performers who know how to make a choice and have a perspective, and are sometimes maybe a little unique, maybe some freaks and geeks in there, and also someone who really thrives in a diverse environment, who can integrate with lots of different personalities and populations of people, and who can really make a choice and dive in and take risks.
We're looking for students that believe in themselves and have that kind of relentless optimism spirit of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to figure out how I can do that. And then I'm willing to meet that student, our faculty is willing to meet that student, because relationships are 100-100. Your student has to bring the 100% and we'll bring our 100%.
Well said. Okay, maybe 2 questions and then we'll take a break. Yeah, in the back, please.
What does the senior showcase look like?
Senior showcase?
Sure. So I don't go to New York. We do it a little differently. Has anyone heard of Mackinac Island? So I wanted to make sure that I can make sure the right agents are there and I don't get an assistant sitting in our showcase. So I entice them by flying them to Mackinac Island. And there's no cars on Mackinac Island, if you didn't know this. There's only horses and bicycles. And so we spend 3.5 days there. We still have our New York trip and they get to go see shows and do workshops and all that. But we do workshops with our seniors. And we do a full performance for the UP on Mackinac Island, and there's casting and all that kind of opportunities.
I said it before, we do a video showcase, and scenes are written for actors specifically, and music chosen specifically for them, and it's edited from many angles, and currently audio edited by Dominic Amendum, who's currently audio editing Wicked, because he has worked on all the Wicked films. So
UNCGshowcase.com.
UNCGshowcase.com.
We had a showcase in New York before COVID, and all of our faculty has changed since COVID. So we are back this year. We're going to do a live showcase in Buffalo that will be recorded for agent submissions and websites, and produced by the College of Arts and Sciences production company, which is fantastic.
Yep, we have a casting director from New York City that consults with us all year long, works with the students on showcase preparation. We then do the showcase in Tallahassee. We film a virtual, professionally filmed, and then we go to New York City in May.
We do a proper showcase your last semester in New York.
A few who are left.
But
already gone.
what? Yeah,
Few who are left.
honestly, it's almost a moot point that we do it, because really senior showcase starts day 1.
Yep.
We are bringing out agents, casting, entertainment, shows from the very minute that you get to the school. Your last semester, you actually have a class called Showcase that every week is taught by a different guest artist, agent, casting. Royal Caribbean comes and Busch Gardens comes, and everybody comes, so you are getting constantly exposed. Yes, there is a showcase, but by then most students have agents, so it's really just almost like for fun.
Okay, we got to wrap there. Big round of applause. Here we go. Round 4. We all feeling good? Woo!
Let's go!
If you're getting chatty, that's okay, but if you're getting chatty, you gotta leave the room. If you want to chat, you gotta leave. We're gonna try to give all of our focus and respect to our 4th round. My God, our 16th through 20th schools. I'm gonna throw a bunch of questions at you. We'll answer them as quickly as we can. We'll see how many questions we can get you from the audience. We've been doing 1 to 2, 3 questions per round. We'll see. Okay, can you start off and just slate yourself? So your slate to these wonderful people is gonna be your name, your school, your position at your school, and the location of your school. Name, school, position, location.
Okay, I'm going first.
You're going first?
Do we stand up?
Oh, go if you want to, yes.
Okay.
Can we see?
I'm Kate Boca. I am the head of admissions at IAMT, the Institute for American Musical Theater in New York City.
Heck yes.
Hi, I'm Joey Zangardi. I'm director of domestic recruitment with the New York Film Academy, College of Film, Media, and Performing Arts. We're in New York City and Los Angeles and kind of all over the world, but those are the 2 main in the US.
Hi, I'm Tim Nicolai. I'm assistant professor of acting and musical theater at Dalton's Conservatory of Theater and Dance at SEMO, or Southeast Missouri State University, if you aren't familiar with SEMO, in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Clough, and I'm from Brunel University, where I am the director of musical theater, and we are just outside Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm Sean Morrissey. I am with Millikan University. I serve as the recruitment coordinator, and I'm on the musical theater faculty, teaching dance mostly, primarily. And we are located in Decatur, Illinois, about 3 hours south of Chicago. We're in that triangle between Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis, kind of in the middle.
All right, now, Sean, you've got the tough job because we're going to go snake style. So we're coming back with a question. They've all been pre-planning. The ones who've been watching it have been
Do we
making
need
the
to
middle
stand
seats.
on all of this,
Very
or
good.
was it?
No, you can say what you want to do.
Okay.
Let's do a 30-second elevator pitch of just like, what do I need to know about your school? Just give me the overview of your school. I'll ask academics, costs. I'm going to ask some specific stuff as we go through, but just give me an introduction overview of your school.
Okay. Millikan University is a small liberal arts, private liberal arts school. In, like I said, Decatur, Illinois, we have about 1,700 undergraduate students and about 200 graduate students in programs that are not in the arts, so you don't need to worry about competing with grad students for things in theater and dance. Let's see, we have about 145 students in the program right now. It breaks down into 5 different degree programs. We have BFAs in acting, musical theater, design, production, and stage management, and then we have this really awesome BA program that is very generalized and really designed for students who are looking to do a double major or to pick up additional skills that are outside of theater. The BA is an amazing program to do that with.
Amazing, and we'll do some academic stuff too.
Yeah.
So, Brunel University is a small private university just outside of Georgia. We are located in Gainesville. No, we're in Georgia. We're outside of Atlanta. I've had a beer. I'm sorry. It's been a really long day. I'm just gonna. So we have around about. We are growing in musical theatre. We're growing in acting. This is my 3rd year here, and what I am wanting to build within my theatre and in the program itself is giving the students not only the techniques, but also the skill set that they can go out and they can be part of the industry.
I'm going to stand up so I can see more of you guys. SEMO / Dalton's Conservatory is Missouri's only dedicated campus to the arts. We have this gorgeous arts-only campus overlooking the Mississippi River. The university itself is about a 5-minute drive from downtown. It's kind of gorgeous, historic downtown next to the Mississippi River. We have 3 different BFA programs in acting, musical theater, and design technology. We have 2 BAs in theater and dance, a pretty terrific dance program as well. We do 7 main stage shows a season. We do some signature series shows that are opportunities for your freshmen who are looking to perform first semester as well. I would say there's a pretty cool focus on new work in our department. We have the Lanford Wilson New American Play Festival. I'm the co-artistic director of that, which we do at the beginning of every summer. Our students are a part of readings and workshops. We fly in guest directors from across the country. We fly in playwrights from across the country to work with our students for a week. All right, fine, Carly.
Hi. So New York Film Academy, we're in New York City and Los Angeles. Our New York campus overlooks the Statue of Liberty, right there in the base of Manhattan. And we have 2 buildings that flank the Wall Street Bowl. Out in LA, we have access to Universal Studios. So our students do their training on actual Hollywood sets in Hollywood sound stages, as well as all over Hollywood. We're going to utilize industry tenfold. We do over 4,000 films every single year in New York and LA combined, which means as an acting for film student, we have programs from 10 years all the way and up, all the way through the master's level, but a Bachelor of Fine Arts in New York and LA, acting for film, a Bachelor of Fine Arts in musical theater in New York City. Christy Cates, who is Idina Menzel's original understudy in Wicked, third elf ever on Broadway, was in Finding Neverland, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. She's the chair of our program, our head of and acting for film and musical theater. Yeah, I think yes, that's good.
Okay, good. IMT is a little bit different. It's not a college. It is a 2-year professional training program. Our focus is on intense training over the course of 2 years and preparing you for the industry because you are learning from the industry. All of your faculty are working professionals, and half of our curriculum is bringing in the industry to the school, whether it's directors, choreographers, all of the folks who come and do pre-production, who do new works, who do all of that. There's a big focus on learning from the people in the room how the industry really works. We're like a trade school for Broadway versus a college. That's sort of the premise. And we're all about training the human and the artist as well.
Okay, amazing. This is a tricky one for you, Kate, to start off.
Okay, ready.
No, it's just gonna be about the academics. The amount of academics that we have, I know it will not be high, but in terms of like, you know, if you give me a 75-25 or an 80-20 or a 60-40, if you have that sense of it, great. If you don't have it exactly, that's fine. Chance to do minors, chance to do double majors. How do academics play into your schools? Okay.
Ready. We have 0 academics.
There you go. That's right.
Zero academics, so no tests, no papers, no grades, anything like that. You're just training. Let's get to see something.
They know what zero means.
But
It's zero.
I-
Zero,
I
zero.
know,
That's great.
I said that I was gonna-
Double minor, double major.
Oh, you can go to school for something else if you want. So if you want to do the double major thing, you're not majoring with us, but you can do it while you're with us. Some students do that. You can do it in process. You can do it online. There are lots of options of ways to do that. If you're interested in the double major, you can do it that way.
A good addition, I guess.
Great. Our Bachelor of Fine Arts is about 75%. We live in a conservatory style. We're about 80%, 75 will be all of those core acting, musical theater, whatever. And then we're going to build in those gen eds or those liberal arts and sciences, but we make them fun and practical. So we do like science of the movies, psychology of performing, public speaking, things like that. We do not require math. For those people that don't love that, but that's how we do that.
That's the line you had.
They require math.
Yeah, we're still schools, so we're about the same. 80 if you're a BFA major, about 80-20. If you're a BA major, probably closer to 65-35, something like that. As far as the gen eds are concerned, what was the other part of the question?
Minors, double majors.
Minors, double majors. We do have a theater minor, we have a dance minor, but you can also, if you are a BFA, you can do a minor in some other department. We occasionally will have BFAs who double major in other stuff. We are one of the schools who allows that if your kid is looking to double major.
But now we are a liberal arts college, so in the BFA you will be doing around about 25% in your lib eds, 75% based on your major. We have a minor that was created called Theatre Arts Management, which gets into the business side of things as well, gets people learning what it's like to be in the theatre building, not necessarily on stage. And people can double major, but I always ask them, how long do you want to be at college?
Okay. 128 credits to graduate as a musical theater major, 124 to graduate as an acting major, and both of those majors will have 37 credits of academic requirements in university studies. So musical theater majors can possibly squeeze in a minor, but absolutely no way to do a double major in just 4 years. Acting majors have a better chance at doing that because they have more elective credits to play around with.
Okay, great. Let's do as close to a one-word and/or one-sentence answer as we can. Give me your artistic focus. So within the acting, singing, dancing, is it we really focus on acting? We focus more on music. We focus more on dance. It's equal across the three. Talk to me about that, Sean. I'll start you off there.
Equal across the three, but we all know that to be in musical theater, you really have to be a great singer. So but acting is also really important.
Yep.
In one word, triple hyphen threat.
Triple hyphen threat.
Yeah, equal focus for us in all three, I would say, though, you're probably not gonna get into the program if you can't act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours is all three, but we also, in every one of them, will also include film into that. So voiceover training, the moving musical project for musical theater, as well as being in a lot of films.
Quadruple threat.
Yeah, so 4.
We are, I would say, very equal between the three. We have a big focus on, in all disciplines, whether it's voice, acting, singing, whatever you're doing, we're focusing on storytelling through all of it. So that's a big focus.
So interesting. 2 rounds ago, we were 4 out of 5 acting focus, and then 5 out of 5 triple threat. Okay, Kate, let's come back and let's talk about cost. So if you know the number, I'd love to hear the number. Just tuition. We can say tuition. Imagining room boards relatively similar to schools. Give me tuition cost, and then how you bring it down. Is it mostly academic, mostly need, mostly artistic? How does that work for you?
Ready to go. We are $30,000 a year. So over the course of 2 years, it's $60 grand for the whole thing, all in, full price. Scholarships are available, and it's a combination of need, talent. We try to do the best we can to share whatever we can with everybody to bring it.
Ours is about $42,500 per year for the performing arts. We can help a student up to about 40% off tuition. We're always going to start with talent first, throw as much money as you can, and then make it up in need, merit, all the above before any federal aid kicks in.
We are about 21K if you're talking tuition, housing, fees, food, all that stuff all together. It really helps if you're coming in with good academics, you got 3.5 or above, even better if it's around 4.0 or above, or you got some good test scores, that helps get the price down. A lot of our students are rolling in around 12 to 15K a year, so pretty reasonably priced there. We also have talent scholarships ranging from $500 to $2,000, which help a lot of our kids out, workshops too.
Including everything, we're around about 46,000. However, nobody pays 46,000. You already get a merit scholarship based on your GPA when you come in. And as all of your kids have auditioned today, they will be attached with a talent scholarship as well, which can reduce the cost. So most people do come in and just pay for them.
Deep breath. Okay, here we go. Tuition 26,000, room board 14,000. So you're looking at 40,000. That's not a real number, like you guys. All students get an academic merit scholarship upon admission. Those range from $6,000 to $10,000, and then the College of Fine Arts kicks in additional talent money based on your auditions. So it goes from $1,000 to $5,000 on the talent money. So you're looking at up to 15 grand on scholarship money. But there's also a presidential scholarship if you're a really great brainiac, and we have a whole ton of them in our program. About 30% of the honor students on campus are in the theater department. So you can get full tuition, like full ride, with the presidential scholarship.
I love it. And I promised you in this financial aid meetings that nobody pays sticker price. So far, I'm going to keep going and say nobody's going to say you pay sticker price. And all the schools, that's just not a common thing in the process. Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Let's come back with Sean, and we're going to talk. Let's wrap with audition tips. So talk to me about what you just watched from the students that you saw. As you're doing recruiting, as you're saying, we're looking for students like this. This is the kind of student we want to see a callback from. These are the kind of students we ultimately want at our university. What is that? What are you sniffing for when you look at talent, when you look at auditions and stuff?
Well, that's a hard question.
That's why I'm making you go first.
All right. Well, we were asked this question in the questionnaire, and what I like to look for are students, are kids that don't really know how good they are. I'm looking for really talented people who have their feet on the ground, who are able to tell me who they are through the work, their genuine selves through the work that they're presenting for us. And that doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, because that doesn't really exist. So we're looking for students who we want to get our hands on and play with and say, hey, we think you'd be a really good fit for our program. So, that's kind of where we are.
I love it.
So what I'm looking for is people to show me who they are. I'm more interested in who they are as a person and wanting to work with them than what they can do. The one thing that I will say, especially to everyone who auditioned today, is my advice would be to you is all these colleges are amazing and we all offer different things. And so it's making sure that your child finds a place that they are going to be supported, finds a place that they are going to have the training that they require, and it's also going to be a place that finds that they are going to find joy from. Because you don't want an unhappy child for the next 4 years. So that's what I would say is the best thing for you to look out for your child.
I would say more often than not, it's popped up a few times today. We're looking for students who are unique. I get really excited when I see students who are not afraid to come in as themselves, who might wear clothes that are a little different, who might do pieces that are a little different, who aren't afraid to put their weird stamp on things. That really excites me. We're also, of course, looking for intelligent students, humble students, kind students, supportive students. I think the environment that we're trying to cultivate is one where the kids really endlessly support one another and lift each other up. And I think we've got a pretty great culture in that regard. So there's more qualities, of course, but I would say those are some of the core ones.
Great. I'm going to ditto that to save a little bit of time because yes, absolutely. Storytelling is a huge thing for me. Also that uniqueness. What is your perspective with somebody else's words is a big thing for me. I want to know who you are, and we want to work with you because you're you. You're the unique version of this. Nobody can be you but you.
Yeah, I would say it's really so much about the energy and the vibe that sometimes someone will walk on stage and I'm like, I like her already. Yes, hasn't even opened her mouth, but I just know, like the kindness, the warmth, the excitement to be there, the joy for her art form is already there, and I'm already hooked and so interested. And for us, joy is a big piece for us too. We especially because we make a big deal about who you are as a person is what gets you keep getting hired in the industry. You can sing your face off once, but if you're terrible, you're probably not going to get a lot more jobs after that. So and because our faculty are all working, we want folks who are kind, positive, hardworking, going to go out there and keep working all the time.
We had a question about in one of the parent meetings about schools basically looking for types, we're looking for 3 tenors, and you didn't hear any of that, right? You're not going to hear of the 30-some schools. Yes, not a lot of people are going to tell you about a cookie cutter, and the world is changing. It's a different. If you have 20-year-old information, it is 20-year-old information. Let's talk about questions. What do you guys want to know of these wonderful people? Yes, please.
How would you describe the relationship between the faculty and the students? A lot of students in that high school community theater have strong relationships with the directors. Obviously, entering adulthood, that's hard to change a little bit. How would you describe that?
Yeah, I would say it's very positive. The students, the faculty are they often say that some of them come and teach at our school, and then they go down to do their Broadway show at night. So I'm like, how are you doing 2 things? You must be exhausted. And they're like, it is so life-giving to be with these students. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of the faculty seeing themselves, in the students. So there's a lot of rooting for one another. I would say we have very positive relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, ours is a family-run business. Like literally the president was a filmmaker, our executive vice president is a musical theater performer. So yeah, from the trickle all the way down, absolutely family-oriented. You will always be like, these are my kids, these are my babies. We're in New York. We don't hire our students by the year, we hire them by the semester. So they are working professionals with 1 foot in the classroom, 1 in the actual industry, and they're only training you on their expertise. So those people that are coming in are putting their stamp. They want to put these students on their resume. So it also makes a difference that they have that relationship because their name is with them from now till the end of time.
Yeah, I would just say we're really tight with them. I often feel like I'm the dad of 100+ kids, which you can imagine what that's like. But we're really invested in them personally and in their futures, and I think it's really well said that we see ourselves in them, and we want to make it easier on them than it was on us. And I think we do everything that we can to support them, whatever time of day that may entail, answering an email late at night or whatever, all kinds of stuff, but really tight relationship.
I would echo everything that they've said. It is about support, and obviously knowing that you are essentially trusting us with your child, whether they're 50 miles away or 500 miles away or 5,000 miles away, because America's huge. Says the Brit. I'm like, what? I'm still here. Been on this plane for 4 hours. Like, where's the water? What was the question?
So our faculty, it's all first name basis with our students and open door policy. So students are in and out of our offices as often as they would like to be. or on occasion when we haul them into our offices for something. I will say that Milligan has a very, very tightly woven safety net. So while you can run, you cannot hide. So if you are not showing up to class, if we see that you're looking a little like off, we're going to investigate it, and we're going to get you to people who can help you figure out what is in your way, what obstacles are causing you from keeping you from going to class, that sort of thing. So we pay very close attention to our students, and we talk about them as a faculty all the time to make sure that nobody slips through the cracks.
Okay, let's wrap there for round 4. Thank you, everyone. Okay, our last round. I was hoping we'd lose some faculty, and we did. We can even like relax and like go slow with you guys now. Like, what do you think? Let's do. We may ask a couple bonus questions and actually wrap at 10 is my goal.
I'm a unique program because I actually have. My name is Sarah Louise Lazarus, and I'm on the faculty. I'm musical theater faculty, and I direct the showcase and a number of other shows at Circle during the year. And I created, because I wanted us to have a BFA. And so my son went to Eckerd College in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I fell in love with the school. And I said to them, I live at the theater department, and I said, we'd love to partner with a school for a BFA. And that was 5 years ago. And we only allow 12 BFAs, and we have a wait list. And this year we have 12 BFAs. So it's a 2+2 program. Students spend 2 years in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is my favorite city in Florida. It's the cultural capital of Florida. And then they come up to Circle in the Square, which is the only school in the world that's in a Broadway theater. And it's just amazing to walk in. We're next to Wicked in a breezeway. And so there's a sign right now for Just in Time and the Bobby Darin musical. And right next to it are signs, all these cast pictures from Wicked. And so it's thrilling to walk in for me, and I've been at Circle forever.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap you there just because you're doing wonderfully. You're already doing the next thing, which is giving your 30-second elevator pitch. So I'll let you all do that. So you can slate, and then for those of you who watched what the next step is, your elevator pitch.
So we have plus.
Slate, and now you get your 30 seconds plus of elevator
Okay,
pitch.
okay. All right, I'm Robert Scott Smith. I'm associate professor and head of the actor training program at the University of Utah, which is in Salt Lake City. I'm also representing Aaron Spear, who is head of the BFA musical theater program, who is not with us. So I'm going to do a little bit of double duty because I'm over the acting, but I'll try to also represent the musical program as well. Sometimes Donny Osmond is a little bit of a claim. I'm kidding. I was just trying to like something of interest.
You want to get a solid city?
Yeah. We're really in a beautiful location. Our campus is like right on the foothills of the mountain. It might be snowing on campus, but you go down like 5 blocks and it's not snowing at all. So it's a really great place right nestled in the mountains. If you love skiing, you love the outdoors, we're really a great place to go. We're protected by the mountains. Our programs are around 20 for each BFA area. I got a little confused to add both of these things to pitch. What
means protected with the mountains? From
warfare?
Yeah.
We're like hugs. It's like a hug.
All right,
so
we'll do more questions.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
I'm so tired, you guys.
We all feel that. Yeah. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Overton. Okay, I'm Rebecca Overton. I'm the head of,
No, we like to say it. They like to say it.
I'm Rebecca Overton. I'm the head of recruitment for the Malloy Cap 21 program in New York City. We are a very unique program in that there are 2 campuses. Our main campus is in Rockville Center, which is on the South Shore of Long Island. And Cap 21, our studios are in Manhattan, literally on Broadway. I say you'll be studying on Broadway. It's fit to Broadway. So our students get to go back and forth between the main campus and the city campus. 2 days a week as a first-year student, you are training in the city. 3 days a week, sophomore, junior, and senior year. And your campus days are going to be a mix of academic classes and also studio classes. That's like the tiniest elevator pitch in the world.
Beautifully well said. And really, if you guys don't mind standing, they wouldn't mind if you do stand. I know you thought they were kidding, but they weren't.
Oh, they weren't kidding.
No. But now we're not talking
Sorry.
about it.
Hi, I'm Greg Helms. I'm the head of musical theater at Wright State. I'm also here representing the acting program. Both of our programs are under one umbrella, so it's a BFA in acting with 2 different emphases. And something unusual about our program is that both of those emphases work together for the first 2 years, and then they split off into their different specialties. We don't have mountains in Dayton, but we're really close to Wright Pat Air Force Base, so we got that.
Okay, we're grabbing chairs because it's perfect timing. We can add you in. We were perfect, nice. We were slating ourselves, and then a quick elevator pitch about your school. 30-second elevator pitch. You've walked in the middle of speed dating, so this is like, you're going to be great. You're going to do great. Okay, so who you are, the school you're from, and then quick elevator pitch at the school. No, you're going the wrong direction.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, hi. I'm Richard Beaver. It says program director, but I'm not. I'm instead of the program director. I'm music director of music theater at Baldwin Wallace University. Speed date. It is a Bachelor of Music program, not a BFA. And all that means is that there's more music classes than traditional BFA. It's housed in the Conservatory of the Performing Arts at Baldwin Wallace. So they're with all of the musicians, with the theater students. But it feels like a conservatory because we're housed in that conservatory. I think that's 30 seconds.
Beautifully done, yes.
Hi everyone, Nicolette Hart. I'm the program director of musical theater at Nazareth University in Rochester, New York, sort of right in the middle between Buffalo and Syracuse. We are a BFA. It's a liberal arts institution, so you're taking courses in 7 other areas, which I think is fantastic, and becoming just a really smart actor by learning about other things. We have placements for dance, theory, and piano, and you take all of those courses in your first 2 years. You can minor in our major, and you can double minor, including arts management, communications and media, contemporary commercial music, things like that. We have lots of partnerships with communities and professional theaters. The freshmen perform in their first semester and they audition in the first year. Lots of guest artists workshops, London 10-day experience and a London semester in your junior year. You're intentionally placed with your voice teacher throughout, and you can shift as you talk to me. We decide where you're going to go for your voice work over the course of the 4 years.
Okay, I'm going to make you sit down to make you stand right back up because we're all going to do this now. We're talking about the schools. Okay, so you already started giving me minors. You all can talk about minors and double majors. Let's talk about what is the percentage of academics that I'm getting. So about how much percentage of my time am I spending acting, singing, dancing versus those other minors, other double majors potentially. You already started, but can you start and we'll just take it back.
Yeah, I'd say about 80, 20, 75, 25.
80, 20, 75, 25, great.
Same, 75, 25.
Yeah, probably the most common answer we've heard today, right? You heard as low as the 60, 40s, could be even a little less at a BA. You've heard as much, even though they weren't saying it, 90, 95 when it's really not a university conservatory, but then 80, 20, 75, 25 for you.
Same for us. We're within the College of Liberal Arts. It's about 20%.
Yeah.
I would say maybe 60-40. I would have to say because it's 76 musical theater studio credits and 41 general education classes.
76 and 41, who's doing the math, anyone?
126 credits a lot, I don't know. I may be totally wrong because my brain is mush. But general education classes and electives, and those electives can be taken in the studio classes. So you may end up with more studio classes if you choose to take electives. But we're not talking
And
about
what about
minoring
minors?
yet. Oh, we are
What
talking-
about minors and
yes.
double majors?
So if you're minoring, you're going to need to use all of your elective credits for whatever that minor is. Yes, you can totally minor. I would say that at least half of our students choose to minor, and we have like a gigantic list of minors.
Any double majors?
No, we can't. It logistically doesn't work because you're going back and forth between 2 campuses, and you won't be able to complete your double major because the upper level classes are not offered at the time that you need them. You'd be there for like 5 years and then you might as well get a master's.
Yep.
We have both of our BFA acting and musical theater program are conservatory style, 75-25%. I would say in the actor training program, we actually have room for double majors. Musical theater program is a little harder just with added dance and the voice.
those extra credits just make it a little tighter to do a double major, but you can minor. So both programs are pretty robust, but there's room for double majors in our acting program.
Okay, I will stand since you can see, I can see you now. Well, it's really interesting because at Circle in the Square, it's 100% theater. And so that you're reading plays and you're doing all kinds of academic things that are just part of theater. And at Eckerd, they have a wonderful theater department there, and you get to take a number of theater classes. You can some of our students have actually done a double major between theater and something else, especially if you come in with some prior credits. And there was one thing I wanted to say. Well, at Eckerd, one of the cool things is a lot of the BFA programs that we have don't allow you to do any theater for the first couple of years. And at Eckerd, I have a student who graduated last year who did 6 plays and musicals when he was there. So you can, the minute you walk in, the casting notices are, notices for auditions are up on the board. So anyway, so it's basically, you will have plenty of theater at Eckerd, but there's where you fulfill all your academic requirements. So that when you come to Circle, it's 100% working on your craft and working in the professional world to become the best artist that you can possibly be.
Okay, we're gonna stick with you, Sarah, and we're gonna try to do as close to one word to one sentence as possible. Let's talk about your artistic focus. So within the musical theater, for those doing musical theater, are we mostly acting based, singing based, dance based, equally across the three? What do we think?
At Circle, we have a very strong acting track. We have a very strong musical theater department, but the actors take lots of musical theater classes. I have them for the second year, and we do a cabaret together at the Triad, which is a lovely little space in New York, a professional space. Forbidden Broadway started there, and so anyway, yes. We have
of the musical theater, is there a focus in the musical theater? Do you feel like it's really equally across the three, or is it one of the three disciplines?
It's all 3 disciplines.
All 3, great.
We have strong dance, we have very strong music program, and we have I think, an incredibly wonderful music performance. Musical theater scene study classes and musical performance classes.
Great, okay.
Musical theater program is it's a triple threat. So heavy dance, voice, and acting. Aaron's BFA is in acting, so that really gives a really strong emphasis on the acting in the musical theater program. And in the actor training program, we do have musical theater students who do voice lessons and can take the dance, so they get a little bit of both if they're coming to either program.
I would say it's a real true triple threat program, but if I had to say, it is an acting focused program in that we are always teaching the students to tell the story, whether they are singing, dancing, or speaking.
I love it. Yep. Our philosophy is acting is the trunk of the tree, and everything else are skill sets that we're using to express those values. So for both emphases, everybody does everything. So acting majors sing and dance, and so everybody's acting every semester. MTs are dancing every semester. Private voice for everybody, because our philosophy is that everybody's going to the same marketplace. There are not 2 different marketplaces. Yeah. It's going to be just one thing. So we're trying to get everybody as professionally prepared as we can get them. Well said.
Yeah, it's all 3, of course, at Baldwin Wallace, but I would say the emphasis, because we're in the School of Music, is singing, but it's acting through song. Yeah. It is by far the most important.
Agreed. Acting is the seed of everything that they do. I would say.
What is it, the seed or the trunk? Which one?
It's
the seed that grows into it. The seed that grows into it. Yep.
But once you, what I love about our programs, and this is not different, we all love our programs, but we help you navigate the requirements, but outside of the requirements, there's flexibility to make your own track. That's what I want, is unique human beings that get to flex the muscles that they want to flex. And if you're a musician, or you want to be a dramaturg, or you write plays, or you write music, all of those things are so important, but it's the human being at the core of everything. It doesn't matter how talented you are, you have to be a good human, and that's like the most important thing to me. Are you a good person? Do you want to be in a rehearsal room with you at the end of a 10-hour day?
Truth.
Collaborative,
Truth.
flexible, and thoughtful, and generous, and a critical thinker, and
Nicola, you keep doing this. You keep jumping to the next question. It's perfect.
It's
It's
a
great.
segue.
But let's segue that. So let's let everyone come back. Let's say, what are you looking for? So Nicola just gave what she's looking for in a program. Let's talk about what you guys are all looking for.
Well, obviously, you have to be a strong musician to come to Baldwin Wallace. It doesn't mean you have to have studied in an academic sense, but you have to be a strong musician because there's extra music classes. But the human being piece of it is as important as the talent piece.
I would say the same. It's life force. What kind of life force are you bringing? Are you a person? And then do you have skills to back some of that up? And because there are 3 different skill sets essentially for musical theater, we're looking for you to be strong in at least 2 of them, and we figure we'll help you on the 3rd one.
What's that?
We are looking for curious individuals who are excited to train. That is super, super important to us. You do have to have a certain level of competency to be accepted into the program. Similar to what you just said, you need to be pretty darn strong in 2 areas, and if you need work on the 3rd, that's okay. But ultimately, we always say to our students, you don't have to be great friends, you have to be great colleagues. And that is something that's super, super important to us, that we're not casting a show. We are bringing in students for 4 years who have to work and play well together. And then ultimately, when you graduate, you'll be our colleagues. Like, we treat our students as future colleagues. And that's what we train you to do, and that's what we expect of you. So that's what we're looking for in a student.
I'm gonna stand.
Oh,
Yeah, Rebecca, we liked you better when you were standing. It's fine.
That's what I wanted to see in the back.
Not being his.
Oh, sorry.
That's called upstaging. That's not being comedy. That's what we're looking for. Clearly, I started off really. Anyway, curious, kind, and collaborative. I think those 3 things are like the most important things that we as faculty possess, and that's the students that we're looking for. So I think when we have that trifecta, we find the most success.
Sarah?
We are basically at Circle's Heart, and it's been around since the 60s. And we are an acting school, and everything is filtered through that. But what we're looking for in students is people that are creative, willing to just jump in and turn on a dime, talented, and what we always look at our students, and especially in the BFA, and know that they're going to grow at Eckerd, they're going to mature when they're in the 2 years at Eckerd, and they'll be different than we even saw them when we auditioned them. And then they grow so much and grow so closely together. We have no competition at Circle. Because we see everybody is unique and nobody is you. So why would anybody be competing with you? Because they have to be themselves. So it's a very collaborative program, and we're just looking for talented people who are excited about the creative process.
Awesome. Okay, let's add in anything about campus life that you haven't given us. So just give us a sense of like, what is it going to be like? Some of you have big campuses, some of you have city school. Like, talk to me about what the campus is. When you have multiple campuses, you can tell us about those too. But give us like, what do I need to know the experience of going to school at your school? Sarah,
Me? Okay, I'm up again. I feel like I'm popping up and down. Okay, campus, we have 2 campuses. So remember, at Eckerd, it's in St. Petersburg, which is the sweetest city in Florida. And Eckerd is just on an inlet off of Tampa Bay. So you can swim in the inlet. It's just that the whole campus is beautiful and friendly, and just a wonderful place to be safe, just a wonderful place. And my students come from there, and they're just so happy to have had that 2 years to grow and mature and get all the academics out of the way so that they can focus. At Circle, we call ourselves in the basement. because we're literally under the stage. And we sometimes have classes there. I have directed any number of showcases on the Broadway stage. And sometimes we do our grad shows that are at the end of the year. And we do a musical, a Shakespeare play, and a contemporary play. And basically that's been on the Broadway stage. And if we don't, we find a really appropriate off-Broadway space. If, like, Justin Time is there now, and their set is not conducive to our being on it, except for graduation, say. So, anyway.
But the campus is New York City.
It's New York City is our campus.
Yeah.
My God, the two best dance studios in the world, Steps and Broadway Dance, are within 2 blocks of us in either direction. And Times Square is right there. So it's exhilarating, and yet it's amazingly safe.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And Robert, we know you're safely nestled.
I was just
in the
gonna say,
mountains.
we've already established the safety of Salt Lake City.
And cannot get him.
You know, no better condos. That's all. What else could I add to that? There's an international airport that you can get on the tracks and go right up to campus, which is a really great shot. For those of you that have been there, you know that's really great for transportation needs for a lot of students who are from out of state. Campus, the housing on campus is really beautiful. It was built because of the Winter Olympics, which we're having again coming up. So our campus is really, it's a beautiful campus, and it is protective. We have a really great life outside of the actor training program and the musical theater program. We have a really great football team. So if people are interested in sports, we have a really great music department, dance department, art department. So there's opportunities to expand outside of just our bubble. We just have a brand new renovated building that we're in for our classes with great studio spaces, sprung floor, Marley. We just got a new 350-seat thrust theater that's been built. We have a Lort B regional theater company on campus. It's in the building next door to us, Pioneer Theater Company, where we have an apprenticeship program for our seniors. So there's a lot of great opportunities in our community and on campus to feel like you're not only getting great training, but you're having a really great college life. But that's it. And protected.
We don't have siege anywhere or anything like that, as far as I know, not yet. So we have 2 campuses. Our Malloy campus is on the South Shore of Long Island in a little town called Rockville Center. It's a very sweet, small campus. It's about 5,000 students, so it's considered like a mid-sized school, but it really has a very small campus feel to it. It's a great, vibrant, wonderful community where, folks feel like you're not really in New York. New Yorkers, I think, have a reputation for being, brisk and kind of getting to where they need to go. And at Malloy, one of the first things that people often notice is that everyone holds the door for everybody else. It sort of feels like a Midwestern campus. It has a really nice sense of community. It's a D2 school, so they do have sports, not a football team, they have a sprint football team, but not a tackle football team, which I think is better for your head anyway, the mom and me. And then our Cat 21 studios are located on 50 Broadway, down in the financial district. We're like right behind the stock exchange. Wall Street is kind of parallel to us. The Wall Street Bull, is like catty corner from us. So it's a very cool historic neighborhood. You can see from our building, you can see the Statue of Liberty. So, and again, like, Sarah, it's New York City. It's everything at your fingertips. So you kind of have both. You kind of have like the busy city, and then you go back to the main campus, and it's like, trees and like ivy and brick buildings, and you kind of get the best of both worlds, which is very cool.
We are a Midwestern campus. So we are in Southwest Ohio, in Dayton, about an hour north of Cincinnati and about an hour west of Columbus. So we share, actually, a lot of our students do professional work in both of those cities, as well as in Dayton. It is a small campus. It's very, we're very community or family oriented there. It's rural. So they like to go and do hiking and stuff like that.
Do football teams tackle?
Huh?
Do football teams tackle each other?
We don't have football, but we have Horizon League baseball and basketball, and our team is like one of the top teams in the United States.
Hell yeah.
Baltimore is in Berea, Ohio, which is about 20 minutes outside of Cleveland. Berea is consistently ranked as one of the top 10 safest college communities in the nation. But you are 20 minutes from Cleveland, which is the largest collection of professional theaters west of New York. And Boneless has professional partnerships with Playhouse on the Square, which is where all of those theaters in Cleveland are. So only one musical a year is performed on campus. The other two are performed at Playhouse on the Square or one of our other partners. So they're getting that immediate professional experience that way. Also on campus, sports, lots of clubs, everything's walkable and doable. It's a really lovely place to be.
We are 2.5 hours east of Toronto. That's helpful, and 5.5 hours west of New York City in a car. If you drive like me, I mean, a little faster for some. Rochester is about 300,000 people, like a mid-sized city. But Pittsburgh, where Nazareth is suburban, very suburban. We are on the Erie Canal. It's very safe and very beautiful and very green and what you would think an idyllic sort of small campus is. We have less than 3,000 students. You can walk from one end to the other in 12 to 15 minutes. Eastman Theater is in Rochester, obviously. George Eastman House, Kodak, Hochstein, Rochester Broadway Theater League, which is where the touring Broadway shows come through, which we have a partnership with as well. So we get a lot of the workshops from the people that are in the shows. Jiva Theater is in Rochester, which is a professional house that we have a partnership with. A lot of our students work there. Garth Fagan Dance is there, JCC, Blackfriars, OFC. There's lots of performance opportunities. We are not a D1 campus. I don't even know what D2 or 3 are. But I'm pretty sure we don't have them, but we do have goat yoga.
No one's mentioned that.
This is the first goat yoga of the night. I love that.
And horseback.
Not at the same time.
Maria's
Wait, Nicola, let me stay with you and let's do costs. So if any of you guys know the tuition, we can stick with tuition only, but if you know what tuition, tell me what that is, and then tell me how we can bring that cost down.
Yes.
You know, we've already said nobody's paying sticker price here, but if we were gonna not pay sticker price, is it academic, is it need, is it artistic? How does that work?
Yep. Yeah, so it's really, that piece of it is really not in my hands, other than we do a rating system so that the admissions house knows what kind of talent scholarship I want to be handed out. So you're getting a 50% break off the tuition immediately. It's so annoying, but the sticker price is somewhere around $60,000. It's immediately cut in half. And then there's a merit scholarship and talent scholarships, and there's things like Bonner Scholar and Young Scholar. So there's lots of different ways to sort of keep chipping away at the cost. And then my team in the admissions house is wonderful, and they will go to bat and fight for, and I say for anyone who's applying to Nazareth, once you get that package, appeal. And once you get that appeal, appeal. Appeal. Because every time some more comes off, and that's just how it works. And I think it's gross, and I hate everything about it, but that's how it works.
Fourth time, fifth time we've heard that sentence?
Yes.
Worth noting it, note it down, you hear 4 times, probably true. Yes.
Yeah. Similar in cost, it's about low 50s is the sticker price, but there's immediate GPA scholarships. So the higher the GPA, the higher the scholarship is, anywhere from 22,000 down to 14,000 off initially. There's now a new presidential scholarship that's starting in the fall for all new students. That's another almost 2,000 per year in addition to that GPA scholarship. And then there's an artistic scholarship. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's anywhere between $2,000 and $8,000. So do all of that math. I'm not even sure where we are now.
$6.50.
Yeah. $5. $5 a semester. Yes, and so and then there is the match and beat price thing. So if you have an offer from somebody and you want to come to Broadway, give us that offer, and they'll do their best to match it.
Let's go for you.
If you're in state, it's 24. If you're out of state, it's 34. That's for the year. That includes housing. Academically, if you have a good GPA, you could be offered anything from 8,000 to 10,000 additional scholarship dollars, and then there's artistic scholarship that come directly from us.
So Malloy's tuition is at about 37 right now. That's not the total cost of attendance, because then there's also room and board. I'm sure you've all been talking about this. So like if we're going to talk like total sticker price for our musical theater students is about 60,000. And that's room and board. There's also a program fee which is specific to the musical theater program. It's like the nursing program has the same thing. There's a bunch of different majors that have, like, it's basically just kind of the cost of what the program costs to run. That's, I don't know why they don't just put it all in. I don't have anything to do with that. But in terms of, if I ran the school, things would be maybe a little different, but they haven't asked me yet, and so I'm not doing it. But we do have academic scholarships. That's gonna be your best money from Malloy. They give very generous academic scholarships, all the way up to full tuition for Malloy scholars. That's really like the top tier GPA. But even like the next tier down is like 32,000, 30,000, 28,000, 26,000. So you can get some major scholarship money if you have a good GPA. And even if your GPA is not all that stellar, they give like basically $8,000 off the sticker price for like a pretty mediocre GPA. Need-based financial aid. I wish we gave talent scholarships. We have very, very, very few small little talent scholarships, but that's not going to be your best source of financing. It's going to be academics.
We're looking at around 32,000 for out-of-state tuition. It's around 11,000 for in-state tuition. I know there's probably not many of you from Utah here, but the one thing, there's two things that are great about where we are. You can get a residency after your first year. You do need to stay during the summer. There's ways to navigate that when you travel, but you can get in-state tuition after your first year, which is incredible. We also work with WUI, which is the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program. If you qualify in a neighboring state, that puts you at in-state tuition, which is $15,000. GPA is really going to help you for merit-based scholarships from the University of Utah. Primarily, we see that knock you down to about $15,000 in costs. Often, if you take that, then you can't become a resident. So you just have to navigate that. It's going to just be a few more thousand, which isn't bad at all. But I just will iterate that December 1st is our deadline. You have to apply academically through Common App by December 1st and have it completed in order to receive merit. Most people miss it, so don't miss that if you are considering us. It's worth having those options.
There.
Okay, well, we're talking two schools and we are separate schools. So we're combined in terms of offering the BFA, but we are separate. So Eckerd College, I can tell you from my experience, my son got the top scholarship, but he got about $25,000. And that came off of his tuition. And that was an academic scholarship. We at Circle do our scholarships by need because we just want to make it available to people who could not come if they didn't get a full scholarship. But everybody at Circle gets some kind of scholarship, even if it's $1,000 or something. And our tuition is, I think it's around $24,000. So it's lower than any other school. So basically, that seems to be what our situation is.
I love it. Okay, let's take two questions and then we'll wrap. I know you guys are all exhausted. Yes, go for it. These two.
How do you allow your students to audition while they're enrolled, and if so,
Auditioning while I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we don't allow, we have, somebody got a Broadway show. We allowed them and then they came back after the show. But most of the time, we are such an intense program. You get everything you would want in any acting program, in any musical theater program. It's just so rich and intense. So basically, you would basically be having a very good chance of having what you need.
Yes, you can. You just have to be in good standing and have a conversation with the head of the area in order to support, just to make sure you're not getting overworked or burnout because academics matter. We have a pretty robust community of theater makers, so there's a lot of opportunities for musicals. I mean, there's a theater company that has 25,000 subscribers for the year, and they have a relationship with Disney, so there's an opportunity for our students to be doing a lot of work throughout the year, as well as film opportunities with our film department, but we do allow that. Okay.
Yes, you are allowed to audition, but we do want you to commit to your training. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but obviously if you have an amazing opportunity to go and audition for something, the caveat is that you can't prioritize auditioning over class time. You get a certain amount of absences, and if you choose to use them to go audition on your own time and then you get flu, it's going to affect your grade. You can take a leave of absence. We have had students leave and come back. Senior year, we're a little bit more flexible. Like we had one of our recent students, Jack Roden, left to go do the parade tour, and we managed to kind of arrange it that it was like practicum, and he was able to graduate on time while still doing the parade tour. So it's possible.
It's the thing that you're training to do. So we want you to audition a lot, but if you get cast on something, then you have to petition. You're going to have to ask for permission to be released from other opportunities at school. And again, we want to make sure that you're not burning yourself out. And some students take leave of absence. We've had students go out on tour and then come back. So yeah.
Basically the same. I would say think hard about it if you're in that situation, because there's a lot at stake in school, and it seems like, oh no, I can have that on, and then suddenly, so it's a conversation that you have with the faculty. But we have a student came in late this fall because he was doing a freshman next to normal, and we have a student who's working right now in Cleveland. So it does happen, but we just want to make sure all things are in balance.
Yeah, it's more of the same. You're going into the business of auditioning, right? So I want you to audition as much as you can, as long as you're ready. I think I have a little bit of stipulation around freshmen, but it's all the conversation. As long as you're prepared and we go through your curriculum and your GPA is in good standing, and it looks like you can actually do it, because everyone wants to say yes, but then they're not thinking about understudy rehearsals, they're not thinking about the put-ins, they're not thinking about the student matinees, they're not thinking about all the things that could affect the curriculum. So if you try to balance the two, and we have plenty of students that do it, they do both. They're in school and they're doing a show. But it's just about starting to teach you how to time manage and how to make sure that you're not over guessing yourself. And
I think that's probably the most common answer you're going to hear. It's the exception of, we heard the Norwalk where they say, we want you to leave school. And like that's unusual. They say, come in and we don't want you to stay for the year. We have one more question, then we're out. Yes, please.
This is more of an academic question, but do you take CLEP tests and high school dual credit?
Yes.
Anyone want to sign up for that? Yes.
Yes.
The easy answers. Okay, let's give a huge.
Can I just,
Yeah, please, but don't clap.
I just want to say, because it reminded me, if you're interested in mobile walls, you need to apply to the school. It's free. It's free, but we can't move anywhere until you apply.
Okay, great. Huge thank you, guys. Okay. The only thing I'll say in closing, so this was like half of the schools that were here. Of course, for those of you who are podcast listeners, we do this. We do long version with all of these schools. Many of the schools have been here and many more. So if you want more of this, of course, we do this on the podcast. So just say that. It's called Mapping the College Audition. So please check it out. Thank you all, guys. We love you.
Yes. My God, our second ever live pod. Kind of the third or fourth, depending how you're going to count those. We had those interviews from Unifieds, which we're going to try to do every year. We had those summer masterclass Q&As that we just did. That was our first official live pod. And now this. I hope the experience of the audio quality wasn't too dizzy-making. You know, for my listening back, it sounded like it was mostly understandable, even if at times it wasn't the most pleasant sounding or evenly balanced. There may have been a word or two that were lost, but for the most part, I think you could understand it. I hope that was the case. Okay, let's do some quick takeaways because this is already our longest episode ever, and I can't talk any faster, so let's see how we go. My first takeaway goes right into that question of the quick, which is something I told all of my junior students when I was doing our monologue masterclasses. It's just that instinct as an actor that I want to throw out there to all of you, which is as you feel things are moving quickly in a day, as you feel like a day is going behind and things are starting to, let's keep this thing moving, as you feel that pressure of like, we're running late, there should be a voice in the back of your head that says, slow down, Charlie, slow down. It's a tough counterbalance to pull off, especially for our polite students and even those polite faculty that you just heard, where you can feel me as the moderator, pushing and move things along. You'll feel that with your audition monitors too, pushing, let's move these things along. Sometimes you have to fight that instinct to be polite and insist on you taking your time. It is your time. It's your 8 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever that audition slot is, but it's your time. Because the truth is, somebody else is going to do that if you don't. For those actors, often this just means taking those 3 to 5 seconds before you start to really ground yourself, remind yourself of the moment before, and then do your best work, right? Dispel that pandemonium of the day, which that can be there, and then really be intentional about stepping into your work. And, that's actually what the people behind the table want from you too, right? Like you'll see it with the faculty there, right? The ones who kind of break the rules and go a bit longer, or maybe just simply take a breath and counter some of the speed of the room instead of just kind of tumbling forward and doubling the speed. They pop off the screen. They make the laughs happen, or they make the audience take a little breath and listen and really hear them, right? Now, that's absolutely a note you could take too far. So be careful, right? You do want to pick up on the energy and match it in a fun way. That's absolutely right. You saw some examples of that with faculty being successful there, of going, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to jump on the chair and I'm going to jump in and match that energy and feel like I got to move quickly. But talk too slowly in the middle of this kind of energetic faculty panel, it could also be negative, right? But you'll see the smart actors, even if they're playing around and they are jumping on their chairs and they're jumping forward and they're having fun with it, joking around when they mess up their slates and try to talk quickly and all that, that was all great. But you'll notice the smart actors there also would find those moments to confidently take a breath and say what they needed to say, right? That's all we're really talking about here, right? Just in the rush of the day, notice that the rush could sweep you up, and don't let yourself rush yourself along and get swept away with the tide, right? You don't want to be disrespectful of their time, and you don't want to go obnoxiously slow if someone's moving you along, but just don't misinterpret their energy of what they're telling themselves. If you hear something, if you hear a monitor say, oh, we need to move faster, we're 20 minutes behind, that doesn't mean that you should solve their problem by rushing through your audition. It's your time slot, right? If you end up making them 30 minutes behind because they loved your audition and they spent time working with you, that's their problem, not yours, right? Your job is to knock your audition out of the park and make them figure out their time problem. Right. And same here with the faculty's job. It was their job to communicate to all of you what they want to about their programs, where it's my job to wrap this thing up in 20 minutes, right? They don't want to actively disrespect me, but they don't want to listen to my let's move it along and actively self-censor themselves either, right? It's their job to make sure that they got their time in. Okay, and I said in this episode, and we've done in a bunch of these pods, so I'm not going to go too deep on it, but did you hear how many of them talked about negotiating and how you should negotiate with them? And a few other things like that, which came up multiple times. I think it's helpful when you hear 3 or 4 schools say it in rapid succession. It is likely a truism about the process, or at least a truism for a swath of schools in this process. May not be for all schools, but for a number of schools, right? One of those big things, which our podcast listeners will be sick of hearing because I hear it so much, is the idea of being authentically you and bringing your unique perspective, your unique point of view, rather than trying to fit into some cookie cutter mold, right? You all know that as listeners, but if you're new to the pod, I will say it is a nearly universal message from these schools. They want you to tell them who you are, and they will decide if it's what they're looking for, rather than you to try to show them what you think they're looking for, right? And you often hear about that in this version of like, we want your weird and we want your quirky and all these kinds of things, which is to say that's to not shy away from the weird and quirky. If that's who you are, you also don't have to like play up quirkiness or play up difference where it doesn't exist. You just want to show who you are in all of the diversity and variety of what that can mean to these schools. And that's a huge part of what we try to do with material selection at MTCA. How do you show off your contrasting strengths so that we meet the fullness of who you are as a person and how you want to represent yourself in those rooms? But a huge part of that can be in the discovery process of who you are, which should be a constant investigation, a constant process, a constant journey, this continual openness and curiosity of what is resonating with your artistic soul. And a huge part of that is the confidence to not shy away from the specific. That's what point of view can mean in some of these faculty. Don't shrink yourself or anesthetize yourself or fit yourself into a box of trying to get it right. Be bold and be brave in your you-ness, whatever that you-ness is, even if you don't think that fits into the mold of a traditional musical theater applicant. In the same way that we have to resist the urge to rush when we feel other people rushing or we feel the day rushing us, we have to resist the urge to fit into the crowd and play it safe when we get nervous and it seems like everybody else is doing it this way, and shouldn't I just do it this way too? No, be bold and brave and do it your way, whatever that way. And the last little takeaway I'm going to say, just because I promised it, is about showing interest. We've talked about it before, but especially for those people who have just finished PUA here and have 60-some schools with 60 different processes. There we go with processes. 60-some schools with 60 different processes for next steps. Don't forget that interest is a two-way street, right? You will be shown interest by some schools in many different ways. It won't follow one formula. The same way it won't follow one formula later in this process. please don't get caught up in what it should be in terms of this process. Like, shouldn't every school just give me a yes or no? Wouldn't that be better? Of course, yes, it would be better, but let's live in the reality of what is, right? So that means don't be afraid to show interest to schools where you have interest. Of course, follow instructions and procedures. That's always, for the most part, follow instructions with procedures. Can't hurt sometimes to show a little bit of interest anyway, sometimes, right? But just because you've heard from 5 schools in one way doesn't mean another 20 schools aren't interested in you if you were to show them interest, right? That same thing is going to be true for walk-ins at Unifieds. One school is going to give you a business card and tell you to definitely apply, where another school will just say, great audition, really love meeting you, Charlie, right? Don't get too wrapped up in those differences. That's about how these different schools with different faculty, different personalities are choosing to play their end of the game. That's not your job. That's their job, right? But for you, if there's interest, express that interest, right? And you can be authentic in it too. That doesn't necessarily mean jumping to an application in some cases. And you don't need to feign interest where there isn't any, right? I don't need you to show interest in every single school if you don't have it, right? But it never hurts to just reach out and say you're interested in a school when you're asking about next steps, right? And some of that's specific to PUA when you're talking about what is my next step if I should be applying, right? But it's a good general rule of thumb of like, if there's interest, if there's a connection, follow up on that interest, follow up on that connection. Be kind, be polite, don't outstay your welcome, but don't be afraid to be in their inbox and be the person who does contacts them, right? And that could be so many different things. That could be telling them you loved a masterclass. It could be telling them you loved a moment. You got to meet them right after one of these panels and you had 30 seconds with them and you had a nice interaction. It could be a callback that you have in the room with them. It could be met them in an elevator, right? I'll say in general, that's my philosophy in life. And I was always, when dating, a text the next morning or even later that night, just if the date was good, I'm going to say I had a great time on this date, right? I'm not waiting the 3 days for whatever reason you're supposed to wait 3 days, right? If there's interest in general, I think it can only help. People like to be liked, right? The same way I appreciate it when people come up and tell me they love the pod, right? Even if you assume everyone else is doing that, not necessarily everyone is doing that, right? It's still meaningful to me, right? And if you were to let these schools know that you loved a masterclass of theirs or you loved a TikTok video of one of their shows or whatever it is, and you start that conversation, certainly can't hurt, right? The worst thing that happens, it's an email that sits in an inbox and you've wasted 5 minutes of your time. But the best thing is it could be something that sparks engagement in a positive direction. And then you can fan the flames of that engagement into a relationship over the course of the next year. And maybe it ends there at the next year, or potentially the next 4 years if we're talking about ultimately the right school. Okay, that's it for the longest podcast on record, produced by Meghan Cordier, Kelly Prendergast, with social media work by Jordan Rice. Special shout out again to the ladies at PUA for the successful panel and a great weekend overall. That is a mammoth lift they take on, and you see them paying in sleep and food deprivation, but you can tell there's a lot of love and care from all the people who run that organization. Some really special folks, so shout out to them. As are the special folks who take the time to leave us a rating and review wherever you listen or watch your podcast, to tell your friends about it. We love those 5-star ratings. We love those kind reviews, which you may even have us read here on the show if you leave one for us. You can follow the podcast at Mapping the College Audition for more of these quick bites of episodes and subscribe for the full thing. And check us out at MTCA.com if there's any part of your preparation where you feel we could be of help in your process. To my young artists out there mapping their journeys, please trust that you're enough for the right program exactly as you are right now. Maybe it's even one of these 26 schools. Now keep striving. We'll catch you next week.